Swallowing the Starry Sky fan novel, with the protagonist from the same era but born in a different universe country. Unexpectedly possessing some abilities of bloodline wizards, one can obtain the talents and cultivation qualifications of this race by assimilating other biological body tissues. Follow the setting of Devouring the World and won't mess into other power systems. Keywords of the novel. The Road to Swallowing the Bloodlines of the Starry Sky. No pop-ups. The Road to Swallowing the Bloodlines of the Starry Sky Complete Collection Download. The Road to Swallowing the Bloodlines of the Starry Sky Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. Trial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Trial. In the dimly lit primitive forest, towering trees of various colors blocked the light falling from the sky. Mo Heng held a large dark red shield in his left hand and walked slowly forward, holding a simple spear that was 1 person tall in his right hand. Behind him, several tall and short figures were intermittently dotted, all holding various weapons and walking slowly with alert expressions. Several people were all dressed in thick black force armor, covering their heads. There's a situation, small herds, catch the enemy. Mo Hengdi's words fell for a few seconds, and as expected, more than 10 black shadows rushed towards the crowd ahead. Half a minute later, Ma Heng used his spear to pierce a piercing cold nail into the tree for the last wolf-shaped hexapod monster, resolving the unequal strength collision. The battle between 5-9 level apprentices, martial artists, and spiritual minders, and more than 10 ordinary 7th level apprentices, monsters, is naturally one-sided. With an explosive power of hundreds of thousands of kilograms and a matching speed, the battle ended quickly. With the right hand, pull out the spear that pierced into the tree trunk, then walk to the side and pick up the shield from another monster. In Yu Guangzhong, there were also several incomplete monster corpses lying next to the others. They all picked up weapons and quickly left the bloody battlefield. Half an hour later, a few people stopped at the foot of a small hill on the edge of the forest. Let's rest here. There's basically no major danger after leaving this forest. Tomorrow we'll go to Black Rock Valley and adjust our state today. The sound came from a burly warrior holding a long sword in the middle of the team, and as a result, the face of his force armor faded like fluid, revealing the face of an ordinary youth. This is the captain recommended by Mo Heng and his team before departure, named Lu Kan, a warrior with a stable personality. The other members of the team also found a big tree or stone to lean against, took off their covers, and started eating and drinking water. Expose 4 equally young faces, including Mo Heng, for both men and women. Mo Heng is 19 years old this year. After closing his eyes on Earth in his previous life, he traveled to this unknown world. Based on so many years of understanding, I only know that I should have entered the world of Swallowing the Starry Sky. I didn't come from Earth, but my luck is not bad. I wasn't born in a corner, and grew up in an empire of elementary civilization. Strictly speaking, I am still considered to have the same royal bloodline as the country's leader. The Yunling Empire goes up to the Intermediate Universe Country, Huilan Universe Country, and up to the Noah Universe Country, one of the 1008 higher universe countries. The Yunling Empire, where Mo Heng is located, has over 20 galaxies, each with over 200,000 life planets. About half of the humans living on these planets have the same bloodline as the country's rulers. So the idea of relying on blood ties to scrape along a good life has been shattered. I didn't have the opportunity to hold on to the thigh of the world master, so in the end, I still have to rely on myself. Fortunately, this life can also be considered an ordinary genius, with 8th class ancestry, but at the age of 19, he reached the level of 9th apprentice. Together with 4 other colleagues, represent the Yuanwu Star, where they are located and participate in the once-in-a-decade genius test organized by the country. After several months of interstellar travel, they arrived at the administrative star of the Cloud Spirit Empire, the Cloud Spirit Star. Now, a few people are testing in the world created by the Kingdom Lord. There are 6 million testers from nearly 1 million planets, all of whom are under 30 years old and have the best 9th level apprenticeship talent, who share the same identity as Mo-Hung and a few others. The experimenter is thrown into the world of trials, where they can fight, but it is forbidden to kill their peers or form teams of 5 or more people. This also limits the off-field relationships of all testers, emphasizing the abilities of small groups and individuals. And all the trial points come from various monster habitats or important resources in various dangerous areas, or a piece of material with special attributes, or a type of food that the habitat monsters love to eat. Similarly, the rewards are also enormous. In addition to ranking, points can also be exchanged for many important items after trials, or directly exchanged for money. The biggest business of the Yunling Empire is to cultivate various high-quality monsters and sell them to various parts of the Huilan Middle Universe where they are located, for domestication, animal fighting, and consumption. Moreover, both the Lord of the Nation and his wife are powerful figures in the realm, and have made significant achievements on foreign battlefields. So, there are some high-level treasures and various strange monsters accompanying them in the trial's secret realm. It is said that after the trial, there is another round of selection that is the focus. Based on their performance in the trial, 100,000 young people will be selected, and they will be awarded the unique Breakthrough Star level secret method and venue of the Cloud Spirit Clan. And with the help of special venues and secret techniques, there is a certain probability that after breaking through the planet, the special abilities obtained will be much stronger than those of ordinary cosmic humans, which is what makes the Cloud Spirit Clan special. Breaking through the apprentice level to the planet level with one's own abilities may take several years, and these years can be omitted to gain a powerful opportunity, which naturally drives millions of young Yunling tribe members crazy. Mo-Hung knew that his talent and abilities did not have a significant advantage among these millions of people, and even in the small team, he was only ranked second in combat power. The honest captain was the main force. However, Mo-Hung has his own special opportunity, and as long as it is fulfilled, he is confident that he can elevate his talent to the level of competing with various geniuses in the universe. Mo-Hung only vaguely remembers that before crossing over, his consciousness drifted in the darkness for a period of time in a state of existence that he could not understand. During this period, I encountered a powerful consciousness, more precisely a powerful consciousness fragment, wanting to devour myself. However, before it was completed, 2 consciousness bodies that were about to merge crossed into this world. The powerful consciousness was quickly separated and extinguished due to its incompleteness, as if the supreme rule that devoured the world had saved his life. Subsequently, Mo-Hung also inherited some of his memory and abilities through fusion. Strong consciousness originates from a wizarding world, where in the face of advanced wizards, the deities and creatures of faith in this world are just laboratory mice. The predecessor of this consciousness body was also a wizard standing at the pinnacle, but how it fell to its current state is not recorded in the consciousness fragments. There is only some common sense information and simple cultivation memories in consciousness, but Mo-Hung is not sure if the rules of the 2 worlds are still universal, and wizards need various materials unique to that world to cultivate spiritual power, so devouring the world cannot correspond. Perhaps in the future, when I become stronger, I can study the knowledge related to pharmacists and supplement various materials according to their properties. And now the only thing I can use is a mental power model in my mind, which was constructed by the wizard's consciousness fragments during the fusion of Mo-Hung's consciousness before entering the devouring world. The simple tetrahedral structure seems to gradually solidify with the growth of one's spiritual and mental abilities. Based on their remaining memories, the spiritual power model is the basis for the growth of all wizards, and each advancement is based on the transformed spiritual power model to constrain and apply the powerful spiritual power of wizards. The commonly used witchcraft of wizards is also recorded on mental power models, while what is deceiving is that there are no low-level witchcraft models in the memory fragments. Fortunately, a black vortex-like imprint has already been burned by the fragmented consciousness body in the tetrahedral mental model. According to its pre-extinction memories, it seems to be a classification of wizards, with the unique abilities of the Bloodline Wizard's spiritual model. All Bloodline Wizards can use the spiritual power model to obtain the talents, abilities, or inheritance of other creatures from their body tissues based on their level of spiritual power. Even when growing to a certain extent, one can fully embody this type of organism. Based on the feedback from the mental model, Mohang judged that he could devour his first bloodline after reaching planetary level. As for its harm, Mohang is not worried. Since some of the wizard consciousness that has merged into his own consciousness has been separated and extinguished, while the spiritual power model remains, it indicates that it belongs to him. Mohang's goal is to gain a certain amount of wealth through trials, purchase a rare biological body tissue, and then use it after breakthroughs, which will be the beginning of life's takeoff. The trial period is 1 month, and we spent the previous week in the Misty Forest, a group of apprentice-level monsters fighting for points. If we don't make a big move, our planet's ranking will definitely not look too good. Don't say the old principal will blow his beard and stare. It's not easy for us to face other students from UNWU College, when we go back. After all, how much educational resources will be allocated in the next 10 years, but it depends on the comprehensive score ranking of our representative figures trials. The remaining male member of the team, named Zero, was chewing compressed food and turned to look at Lucan. Lucan, why don't we try the point items around the planet-level monster earlier? The other few also turned their heads to look at Lucan, their eager eyes indicating everything. According to the Dean's introduction, their strength in this session can be ranked among the top among all testers. According to past statistics, only 10% of testers can fight against planetary-level beasts alone. As for the cultivators who have the ability to independently kill newly entered star-level ferocious beasts, there are even fewer, and both Lucan and Mohang in their team barely have this level of strength. Lucan leaned against a thick tree trunk and looked around with a long knife in his left hand, saying, apprentice-level items have 1 to 10 points each, while star-rated items have over 100 points, but with it comes greater danger. Only me and Mohang in our team have the strength to face the resistant star level with force equipment. I was originally planning to take everyone to Black Rock Valley to earn some small points first, and also to explore the Kashi grassland adjacent to Black Rock Valley. There are many animal herds on the Kashi grassland with star-rated leaders. After familiarizing ourselves with the terrain, we can plan the star-rated animal herds or charge some tolls for other teams. We don't have many points now, so it doesn't matter if we try the star-rated beast group first. There are many powerful teams over there, and if we encounter any major problems, we'll give them these few hundred points. Lucan changed his tone and said, however, the Dean has said that unless there are any special circumstances, the team's trial points will be divided equally in the end. If everyone agrees, then we can change the plan. After all, it is a trial by multiple people, and peer testers are also defensive factors. According to the news from the Vice Dean in charge, some teams in this season are able to resist planetary-level monsters. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Red Gold Horn Horse and Jade Scale Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Red Gold Horn Horse and Jade Scale Beast. An endless green grassland, where various grassland creatures migrate leisurely in groups. Lucan and his companions ran at a constant speed on the ground, maintaining a speed that did not consume much physical energy. Mohang and another girl named Leah relied on their mental and intellectual abilities to fly over the sky as a warning. After a vote, everyone decided to try the taste of a star-rated monster first. After all, young people are not lacking in vigor. There is no stellar light in the world of the Realm Lord, but there is always a warm light like the sun shining on the grassland in the sky. As the group of people marched, there were occasional harmless herbivorous herds around, and if they didn't attack actively, both sides were safe and sound. The peaceful and beautiful scenery of the mountains and rivers greatly relaxed the hearts of several people. Mohang was also amazed by the peaceful scene and the great power that shaped this world, and did not know when he would be able to achieve this realm. Nowadays, I am just a junior with a dual identity of a warrior with 11 times my body power and a controller with 13 times my mental power amplitude, and my level is only slightly higher than the average level of a 9th level disciple in the universe. The average level of physical exertion in the 9th level of apprentices in the universe is 10 times, while spiritual masters generally want to break through the standard of star level by having a mental amplitude of 12 times. It can also be inferred that one's current talent is better than that of ordinary people, but it may not necessarily be better than those of higher-blooded races. My entire fortune is limited to this spear, shield, armor, and 3 first-order force equipment, with only a few alloy flying knives remaining. That's all. It's the college rewards and family support that earned it. The good times didn't last long, and the distant rumble of fighting caught the attention of several people. Mohun went to inquire, and Leah was ready to answer. Zero and Molly were waiting with me in the same place for news. We martial artists don't have the mobility of spiritual minders. Lucan quickly responded. Stepping on the force shield and flying at low altitude, Mohun could feel the planetary level fluctuations of the force several miles away before approaching the battlefield. Near the edge of the conflict, 2 groups of animals colliding with each other caught the eye. Without opening the auxiliary optical brain query, Mohun can identify the identities of these 2 groups of monster beasts. The dominant group is a group of 2 zhang tall massive figures, with snow-white scales all over their bodies and double horns on their heads, known as the Jade scale beast. On the other hand, there is a group of firstborn 2-horned, approximately 1 foot tall horned monsters called the red gold horned horses. At the center of the battlefield, there is a collision between 2 planetary-level Jade-scaled beasts and a row of star-rated horned horses. The external force prevents any apprentice-level monsters from approaching nearby. It depends on the situation. It's only a matter of time before the red gold horned horse is defeated. The horns of planetary-level Jade-scaled beasts are each 100-point trial item. Mohun turned his gaze to the surroundings, and the small teams attracted by the movement were far more than his own. Obtaining these points was not an easy task. The most eye-catching group is a group of 5 people standing on the magic weapons, swaggering from high altitude to watch the battle, led by a purple-haired man. I don't care if anyone comes to compete with them for the results. The undisguised arrogant behavior made Mohun have to doubt whether the struggle between these 2 herbivorous herds was caused by them. Mohun quickly transmitted the message to several teammates through the auxiliary optical brain, and after understanding the situation, the teammates all decided to try and get a share of the pie. The feasibility of 4 teams depending on the situation competing for 4 beast horns is very high, and there is also a pure warrior team. In terms of mobility, their team is not bad. The fierce battle among the beasts gradually intensified, and in the end, the head of the horned horse, heavily injured, turned around and fled. Generally, planetary-level monsters run faster than the speed of force flight, and at this time, the head of the horned horse is injured in the front hooves and has to fly in the air. Seeing the leader of the horned horse retreat, 2 jade-scaled beasts rushed over as if their eyes were red, wanting to entangle the former. Just caught up before being intercepted by 2 teams of impatient testers. Unexpectedly, the team led by the purple-haired man did not target the 2 jade-scaled beasts, but directly charged towards the fleeing leader of the red golden horned horse. Mohun's teammates finally arrived. Captain, the herd has decided the winner. Let's go grab the beast horns first. Lucan nodded and looked towards 2 small teams fighting against the jade-scaled beasts in the distance. He found a team with similar strength to his own team and rushed over. Let's go, make a quick decision. Several testers dressed in red battle armor looked warily at the 5 people rushing towards them, and were about to speak a warning when they were interrupted. The burly figure with a long sword leaped and slashed towards the crumbling jade-scale beast, forcing one of their teammates to retreat. Don't panic, friends. We're here to help. After Lucan made a decisive move, he vaguely occupied a vacant spot on one side of the swaying jade-scaled beast. Mohun and a few others behind him followed closely, waiting for the jade-scaled beast's final counterattack. Luck stood on the side of Mohun and the others, with spiritual guidance blocking them from above and warriors consuming them from below. The Jade Scale Beast, which had no escape, drew its last long nose towards a red armored warrior in the neighboring team. The impact, full of force, even weakened by force armor, dealt considerable damage to the opponent. His body was hit by a resentful blow that flew several tens of meters before landing heavily on the ground. After a long battle, Mo Hung and several others all discovered this good opportunity, and Lu Kandang first slashed at the defenseless Jade Scale Beast. The leading warrior on the opposite side quickly drew a sword to stop him, but was swung open by Mo Hung's spear and stood in front of him with a flash of his body, blocking him. The other members of the team also entwined with each other, and the last unlucky person who should have stopped Lu Kan was lying on the grass several meters away before he could recover. After observing by Mo Hung, only 2 members of this team can withstand the power of the star rating, and the strongest one is the one in front of Mo Hung. Dingling Bell, the alloy flying knife transformed into several streams of swimming fish to harass, and the force spear constantly picked and blocked the opponent's attacks under Mo Hung's command. Mo Hung had a basis for advancing and retreating, just to delay time. With the combination of the mindful flying knife and the principal weapon, the angry and fierce attack from the opposite side was helpless for a moment. Even alloy flying knives occasionally charged towards the side to support Zero, who is being suppressed by another expert from the opponent. Only about 10 seconds later, Lu Kan skillfully resolved the battle, and his 2 beast horns were also wrapped and collected by the force armor. 5 against 4, Mo Hung team has the advantage. At some point, the jade-scaled beast on the other side was also dealt with, and the 5 of them looked at this side with fierce eyes. The red-armored warriors on the opposite side knew that even if they continued to fight, there would be no good result. So they stopped and helped their distant teammates, cursed a few words, and left. Mo Hung and the rest of the team had no intention of fighting anymore, so they dispersed in their respective vigilant gazes. Haha, a week ago we were so exhausted that we only earned 200 points, and today we earned 200 points in one day, Zero shouted excitedly in a hidden cave. After half a day of hard work, several people arrived at a cave in the Black Rock Valley adjacent to the grassland to rest and prepared to find a place to hide their points. After all, this group of people cannot afford space rings. Carrying dozens of items of different sizes with them can affect the battle. If they encounter teams with vastly different combat capabilities, it is possible that they will be cheaper than others. It's better to put it in a hidden spot first and take it out before the trial ends. A few people were eating barbecue and chatting around the campfire when the bad news suddenly came. Rumble, the hidden cave entrance, was attacked by some unknown force and collapsed. It should be a small team that discovered us. We have checked around before, so it seems that the other party may have some unknown means of exploration. Leah said with a serious expression. As a spiritual thinker, she had previously used her psychic power to explore the vicinity of the cave entrance and confirmed that there was no situation in the hundreds of meters around the neighborhood. We don't have the ability to breathe on a planetary scale. Over time, there won't be enough oxygen here. Let's eat something first and prepare to break through, said Lu Kan. Half an hour later, a small rock layer on the ground burst into an opening, and several figures quickly flashed out of it. Several people opened a cave in the opposite direction of the cave using the spiritual weapons of Mo Hung and Leah. As soon as he stood steady, he saw several figures on the 3 magic weapons in mid-air. The purple-haired man with a familiar face was the team of testers who had been chasing the head of the horned horse half a day ago. Without waiting for Mo Hung and the others to think, several powerful weapons rushed towards them, and 2 warriors jumped from mid-air in the distance and rushed towards them. Mo Hung only had time to operate a few alloy flying knives to intercept a few blood-red small swords without handles, but the effect was not ideal. After colliding with the alloy flying knives, several red small swords rearranged their order and rushed forward at a faster reaction speed than Mo Hung. Picking, poking, stabbing, and various attacks made Mo Hung feel flustered for a moment. Suddenly, 2 red small swords broke through the interception of the alloy flying knife and rushed towards Mo Hung. Mo Hung had to use his spear grid to block 2 small swords, but due to the use of melee weapons, the precision of the alloy flying knife in the distance decreased, and two blood-colored small swords broke through and stabbed Mohun. Mohun, who was holding a breath in his heart, realized that he had encountered a wealthy person using advanced mental weapons. The amplitude of their mental power is almost the same between the two sides, but the other party has secret techniques and mental weapons. At present, it seems that the other party may not have fully demonstrated their strength, and their defeat is only a matter of time. The other few members of the team, except for Lucan, are all struggling to support themselves, and defeat is just a matter of time. At this moment, Mohun could only scrutinize the surrounding mountain terrain, looking for an opportunity to escape. Before setting off in the cave, several people separated the points items and carried them separately. Mohun, as a spiritual minder, shared a bit more, including several items including a 100-point beast horn. The trial does not allow intentional killing of the same clan, and there is no need to worry about the safety of a few people when escaping. The location for the reunion has already been agreed upon. Brother, don't think about how to escape. This extreme sword wheel is a third-order magic weapon, and its flight speed is not bad. The man with purple hair in the sky wrapped his hands around his chest, stepped on a blood-red wheeled magic weapon, and looked at Mohun with a smile on his face. As long as you hand over the points, we won't make it difficult for a few of you, he said. Leah, who was flying only a few hundred meters on the side, was stopped by the other party's two spiritual masters. Lucan was engaged in a fierce battle with another warrior, and the last warrior in the opposing team was the only one to suppress Zero and Molly. Mohun sighed inwardly, realizing that the opponent was indeed a top-notch team, while his own team only came from an ordinary forestry planet, and each trial only ranked in the middle. If you want to break through, it's the best time to take advantage of the two mental masters surrounding Leah now. If the other party frees up their hands, the disadvantage will only be greater. Boom! Mohun jumped back to the entrance of the cave where several people had come out in the surprised gaze of the purple-haired youth. Without even having time to retract the distant alloy flying knives, he casually threw out two spare flying knives and destroyed the entrance. If flying or fighting in the sky, Mohun may not be as powerful as a third-order psychic weapon. But in the case where the amplitude of the two people's mental power is not much different, the speed of moving underground should be similar. After all, whether compared to third-order mental power weapons or A-grade alloy flying knives, the hardness of the underground soil is no different from tofu. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Underground Discoveries. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 3 Underground Discoveries. The dim underground is surrounded by soil and rocks on all sides. Mohun can only maintain a depth of several hundred meters based on the records of the auxiliary optical brain, and will leave the ground for air exchange every few kilometers. But then came the thunderous blow of the purple-haired youth waiting on the ground, and Mohun knew that he would eventually be injured if this continued. The other party did not know what detection methods were used, and the detection range had exceeded his own perception range. After resisting the attack again, I had to use my force armor to transform and wrap some air, and then escape underground again, preparing to go deep underground again. In a rock layer thousands of meters deep underground, Mohun broke through the ground and saw an underground river. Above the river, there was some space, and the river flowed forward in a winding manner. Mohun is preparing to fly along the hidden river to explore and escape the pursuit. I have agreed with the team leader to gather at the edge of the misty forest within 3 days. I will explore underground for a day first, and if there is no harvest, I will gather. Mohun put away his alloy flying knife and explored along the edge of the underground river with his foot on the force shield. Occasionally, there are some plants on the surrounding rock walls, and occasionally there are cracks in the rock layers. After spending half a day, Mohun finally saw the first large creature seen in the underground river. A 2-meter-long giant monster fish with serrated teeth on its mouth and crab-like double claws in front of it. There is no display of species on this strange fish's optical brain, but it can be detected that all of them are apprentices 9th level. In such a large group of apprentices 9th level monsters, there must be a planetary level leader, and the widest underground space is only about 100 meters. It is easy to be surrounded when fighting, so it is best not to provoke them. Mo Heng thought to himself and then manipulated the shield to slowly fly backwards, preparing to find a gap in the rock layer to rest for a few hours before returning to the ground. However, after flying 2 turns, Mo Heng encountered the least desirable thing at that moment. The young man with purple hair's ghost stuck around the corner waiting for him. "Brother, wait a moment. I'm not here to fight you." Looking at Mo Heng's sharp to puzzled eyes, the purple-haired youth manipulated the force weapon to retreat 10 meters to show that he had no ill intentions. "I am here to collaborate with you. Your Excellency is not aware of this. Apart from the items being tested, the clan has also stored some treasures in the testing world, some of which are even of great help to the universe level. This is also one of the benefits of the testing." The young man smiled and looked at Mo Heng, lifting his left hand. A projection appeared on his left arm's intelligent light brain. The projection shows a vine plant floating on the water surface, and the blue fruits on the vine attract Mo Heng's gaze. "I believe you have also heard of Mengluo fruit. The most high-end business in cultivating ferocious beasts in the clan is at the cosmic level. And this type of Mengluo fruit is a promoting treasure that helps ferocious beasts break through the cosmic stage. Most importantly, this fruit has mild medicinal power and can be digested by humans if taken, but it will take a little longer." At this point, the intelligent optical brain on the left arm of the purple-haired youth changed to a terrain projection. "This is the result of a detector given to me by an elder to check the energy of nearby organisms. 300 meters ahead, there is a group of apprentice-level 9 green crystal pincerfish. Another 300 meters and 500 meters have the same 2 groups of apprentice-level 9. Then, 1 kilometer further, you will reach the location of Mengluotang, except for 3 planetary-level green crystal pincerfish over there. 3 planet-level ferocious beasts, without much intelligence. Whether you procrastinate alone or go back to call your teammates, it's all a solution. Why do you want to cooperate with me?" Mo Heng asked his final doubts. "I am teammates with them, but not friends. I have a clear understanding of whether the 5 of us earned more or work together to earn more. Mengluoguo was invested here since the trial began, and now it has been a week. Guess how much is left? If it weren't for the slow digestion of those 3 planetary-level ferocious beasts, and the fact that low-level ferocious beasts don't have the right to share a share in their hands, there wouldn't be our share. Make a decision quickly, and we'll split the dream luo fruit we get into 3 or 7 parts." Mo Heng naturally knew that 30% of it was his own. After all, the other party's strength was stronger than his and the news was still from others. However, these fruits are worth at least tens of millions of Huilan coins when taken out. If there are a few more, you can even exchange them for a second-level magic weapon, which is a huge temptation for someone like me who has been poor for over a decade. So he replied, "Okay, how can we take action, and how can you ensure that we don't lose face after cooperation?" "Hehe, don't worry about this, brother. I promise that I won't go pick the Mengluo fruit until all the Qingjing pincer fish are resolved. Afterwards, you and I will pick it together. You and I are both spiritual masters who want to destroy a fragile item several tens of meters away from each other, but the other cannot stop it. Brother, you can kill the enemy at any time, and the rules stipulate that you cannot actively destroy points items. This dream Luogua is not included in the points items. I have agreed to this matter." "Okay, how do you call me Brother Toyuo?" The purple-haired youth smiled. "Just call me Mo Heng." Goo 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 goo. Under the underground river, hundreds of blue crystal pincerfish shuttle rapidly underwater, and not far away is the battlefield of fierce battles. On the water and in the air, Mo Heng and 2 Luo each stepped on their weapons. In front of him were more than 10 blood-red small swords and silver-white alloy flying knives, and a large number of rushing Qingjing pincerfish became corpses floating on the water surface. Occasionally, a few rushing ones were killed by several blows from Ma Heng's spear. Half an hour later, the battle finally subsided. Looking at the corpses on the water, Toyuo turned to look at Mo Heng and said, "Brother Mo Heng, the intelligence of the fierce beasts is not enough." All the apprentice-level Qingjing pincerfish ahead were attracted by the battle, but those 3-star-rated ones did not follow their instincts. That means something is attracting them. It seems that there is still room for Meng Luoguo. After taking a short rest, the two of them flew forward, and Toyuo's detector kept detecting nearby vitality fluctuations, showing that the 3 Qingjing pincerfish were still in place. Not long after, the two finally saw 3 larger green crystal pincerfish, as well as the vine plant next to them and a dozen or so blue fruits on top. There are still 18, fortunately these monsters' levels are not high and they digest slowly. 10 small swords flew out of the extreme sword wheel at Toyuo's feet, and 5 groups rushed towards 2 Qingjing pincerfish. The last one will be handed over to the Ma Heng brothers. My formation sword style won't last long. Mo Heng nodded and raised his hand, cutting 12 alloy flying knives towards the last blue crystal pincerfish. Unfortunately, the surroundings are all water bodies, and it's not easy for the martial artists to unleash their strength. Otherwise, with 11 times their physical strength and combined with their mental abilities, Ma Heng had the confidence to quickly solve this Qingjing pincerfish. Qingjing pincerfish flew towards Ma Heng with several flying knives, each with an impact force of 500,000 kilograms. It seemed that each flying knife did not cause too much damage to it, and the A-grade alloy flying knife was temporarily unable to break through its scales. According to the impact of the flying knife and its double pliers on Ma Heng, it could feel that its general attack had an impact force of about 4 million kilograms. Mo Heng dare not engage in close combat with him when he is full of energy. After all, it is difficult to deal with him if he is entangled in this water environment. I can only step on the force shield and pull it apart, with several flying knives interfering. Occasionally, I create opportunities for several flying knives to work together to attack a place and consume it. After spending more than 10 minutes in this way, relying on the physical fitness of the star-rated ferocious beast, the Qingjing pincerfish did not slow down but also had many wounds on its body. More than a dozen flying knives tirelessly attacked the Qingjing pincerfish. Whenever it wanted to break through to Mo Heng's side, there were always several flying knives rushing towards him at the same time, adding up millions of kilograms of force to push him back. "Brother Ma Heng, I can't hold on for long. This ferocious beast doesn't have any other innate abilities, only melee ability, and its fastest speed is also limited in this underground space." At the same time, Mo Heng's auxiliary optical brain received a message, and through this message link in the optical brain, Mo Heng instantly found an introduction to this green crystal pincerfish. Ma Heng was planning to use his mental energy for a period of time, but Toyuo was fighting against 2 Qingjing pincerfish alone. Even if it was just a temporary teammate, Ma Heng didn't want anything unexpected to happen to him. So he tightened his force spear and was ready to look for opportunities at any time. Several flying knives revolved around the Qingjing pincerfish, taking advantage of the gap between the other flying knives and the Qingjing pincerfish's body to stab the wound on its body. The Qingjing pincerfish had to expend more physical energy to accelerate the twisting of the 4 flying knives that stabbed towards the wound. The 4 flying knives only struck the scales on his body, causing his body to shudder. At this moment it instinctively felt the threat on the other side. It turned out that the human who had been far away from him came knocking on the door. Mo Heng rushed towards the Qingjing pincerfish using the reaction force from the surrounding rock walls, with a spear in his hand piercing his eyes. The other 8 flying knives quickly followed suit. Artistic level. Tu Luo on the other side saw Mo Heng's blow with a hint of surprise in his expression. Unfortunately, Mo Heng did not have much attention and precise operation in the overall attack of his body. The remaining 8 flying knives stabbed the wounds on the rapidly swinging beast's body, and he could only chop all his brains towards its head. As expected, the force spear was bitten by the serrated teeth of the Qingjing pincer fish, but the impact force of 6 million kilograms still caused its body to stagnate. The 8 flying knives that followed were defended at all angles with the swinging of its double pincers. Mo Heng could see anger in the eyes of Qingjing pincer fish, who was staring at him closely. It seemed that he was really frustrated by the previous consumption. The Qingjing pincer fish bit the force spear and did not let go. It smashed at the double pincers of several flying knives before giving a fierce blow to the guy in front of it. At the same time, Mo Heng's right arm's force battle suit flowed and a flying knife flew out of it, unexpectedly shooting from a short distance into the jagged gap that bit the force battle spear. Quickly releasing the right hand holding the force spear, a large amount of psychic power was used to manipulate several weapons, and the remaining psychic power was used to manipulate the shield behind the back with Ma Heng and leave at a slow pace. However, at this moment, Qingjing pincer fish did not take the opportunity to attack Ma Heng, but instead frantically rolled its body in place. The remaining situation was much simpler. Mo Heng quickly used 12 flying knives to stab the vital parts of the Qingjing pincer fish's body, but this time he did not receive strict defense. However, in just a few seconds, with a flying knife piercing his eyes and damaging his brain tissue, the battle ended. Ma Heng stepped on the force shield and looked at another Qingjing pincer fish that was closer to him. 12 flying knives quickly flew towards him and took over the 5 blood-colored swords that were entangled around him. Several swords also quickly flew to another battlefield. Brother Ma Heng is indeed not easy. The rest will be left to me. Brother, just hold on to this one first. Mo Heng was also willing to see the power of the opponent's psychic weapon more, so he agreed. 20 minutes later, the two of them stood in front of a huge vine creature, with 3 green crystal pincerfish floating on the water not far behind. Ma Heng looked at 6 blue Mengluoguo in his hand, and Tulyuo on the other side was also happy to put 12 Mengluoguo into the space ring, which made Ma Heng feel roast again, and he was indeed a big dog. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. End of Trial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 End of Trial. One day later, Mo Heng stepped on a fiery red diamond-shaped magic weapon and flew low at the edge of the misty shadow forest. The speed of 100 meters per second did not consume much energy, and he could observe dangerous situations around him at any time. After the underground battle ended, under the vigilance of Ma Heng, whether due to excessive consumption or other reasons, Tulyuo did not actively conflict with him. Instead, he became more friendly with himself and even invited him to work together for a few days. However, Ma Heng politely declined, as he had only just met the other party. After resting, the two of them had just returned to the ground when they encountered a group of unlucky ghosts preparing to rob their seemingly isolated duo. The result is self-evident. Mo Heng's artistic conception level spear technique alone suppressed 2 opponents, and even had the remaining strength to control the flying knife to attack others. Relying on his skilled attack techniques, Tulyuo broke through the opponent's mental mind master's defense with just one face, relieving their combat ability. The following battle was naturally one-sided. Subsequently, under the hospitality of Tulyuo, Mo Heng and the others evenly divided each other's points worth 2,000 points. Before leaving, Mo Heng noticed that the opponent's psychic weapon was actually diamond-shaped, which was very pleasing to his eyes. After friendly communication, I exchanged 5 alloy flying knives for this diamond blade box and promised that if the other party reneged, they could exchange it with me after the trial. But whether the other party knows who they are and how to find them is his own business. Obtaining this diamond blade box has been of great help to Mo Heng. The psychic weapon is more suitable for psychic manipulation, and there are many complex operations that can be performed. And this first-order psychic weapon also has 2 attack modes. One is to split many flying blades from the diamond-shaped weapon body for attack. Another way is to combine 9 flying blades into a diamond-shaped flying blade for attack. Although this type of attack consumes a considerable amount of energy, the speed of the flying blade attack has been significantly improved, and it is an attack power that is 9 times the total strength of the mental power. It can only be said that it is truly a mental weapon. Even the lowest level can improve one's strength, but currently it still needs to be used as a means of transportation. Find your teammates first. Half a day later, in a valley near the previous gathering place, Mo Hung and Lu Can reunited again. Congratulations. Zero saw Mo Hung's chanting weapon and congratulated him, giving him a reunion hug. Mo Hung also took the opportunity to hug the other 2 women. Mo Hung, before you could gather, we encountered several more teams of testers, and their strength was clearly not small compared to ours. It seems that the team we met the day before yesterday is the top tester among all of us. Obviously our luck is not good, Lu Can said with a smile. Mo Hung carefully observed the state of several people and found nothing wrong. It seems that he was not too difficult for that team of testers. The captain guessed well. That purple-haired guy in the trench was inhumane, and he chased me with a detector for several hours. No wonder he couldn't run away. This thing can be found on a planetary level. Mo Hung revealed indignantly at this thought. That's not against the rules. As long as the tester doesn't have a technology weapon to increase combat power, it's not against the rules. Lu Can could only shake his head and say. Alright, now that Mo Hung has returned and our strength has fully recovered, we can continue to move forward. We shouldn't be so unlucky to encounter those top and second strong teams. Leah, standing side by side with Mo Hung, turned her head to look at Mo Hung and said to everyone. In the next 20 days or so, a few people relied on their strength to crush most of the teams and crazily harvested 5,000 points. Adding the points obtained in the previous round, a total of 7,000 points were obtained. In the early morning of the last day, a few people had just summarized all the points and items together. Everyone in the trial world has received a message with their optical brains. The trial has been terminated. Everyone should gather at the nearest gathering point provided within 3 days and wait for the spaceship in the clan. If there is any conflict among all trial participants afterwards, the trial score will be cancelled. Mo Hung and his companions spent 2 days according to the map to reach the given gathering point. The first thing that caught their eye was a spaceship about 10,000 meters long. In front of the huge hatch, several teams of testers communicated with a group of people dressed in standard gold armor, and also took out a pile of trial items. As Mo Hung and his companions approached, they felt the undisguised aura of star-level creatures exposed. As expected, the group of golden armor guardians were all star-level, and a middle-aged man with a star-level 7th appearance looked at Mo Hung and his companions with a smile on his face. Little ones, you can call me Soman. First, count the points and items, and then you can enter the starship to rest. There are restaurants, lounges, and entertainment venues available. A few people dared not speak too much, taking out all the points and items from the senior Soman one by one. The total score was 7,200 points, and it was temporarily listed as 5,100 on the temporary ranking list of all planets. Although there are still a small number of teams that have not been counted, Soman told them that according to estimates, they can definitely rank within the top 10,000. You should know that there are nearly 1 million planets participating in the trial, and the scores of previous UN stars were generally above 100,000. Go in, little ones, you can leave the trial world in 2 days. Soman's attitude towards the top students became more friendly. After a few people entered the starship, there were prompt screens for various areas in the spacious hall. The 3 men all wanted to go back to the assigned lounge and lie down first, but were pulled by the excited and discussing 2 women to the restaurant to celebrate. On the morning of the 3rd day, Mo Hung was awakened by the prompts of the auxiliary optical brain. After stretching lazily in bed and changing to a lying flat position, he converted the simulated scene of the ship's exterior on the other side of the rest cabin wall into an entertainment program for playback. Later, I leisurely opened my optical brain to check the news. It turned out to be an official message, and all the teams had gathered. Then, I clicked on the leaderboard. 6,300, it seems that we have allocated a considerable amount of educational resources to Yuan Wuxing this time. We can now explain it to the dean and his team. Then I saw the next message received by Guangnao, which was a link. Clicking on it led to a huge virtual shop, where various force weapons, armor, potions, and even secret methods were exchanged. The currency used for exchange was points. Opening one's own point balance, a few days ago, after counting the points, the other three insisted on transferring a portion of the points to Lukenmoheng and the other two, and then evenly distributing them, which would be unfair to them. Unable to resist the insistence of the three, both Moheng and his team's points increased to 2,000. According to the introduction on the redemption interface, if there is no redemption within a month, the redemption shop will close its permission, and the remaining points will be automatically exchanged for Huilan coins at a price of 1 to 1,000. As all testers do not have planetary-level cosmic citizenship, an official bank account for the Cloud Spirit Empire will be automatically created and deposited for them. Phantom Star Flower, 500 points. Note: this is a magical treasure that helps to break through the star level of the line. It was cultivated by pharmacist Sirona and can be used. Xingyao Reagent Type 1, 500 points. Note: Body Breakthrough Star Level Assistance Treasure, formulated by pharmacist Gu Tua, when used, Haiyun Crystal, 100 points per set. Note: Planet Level Force Cultivation Treasure, 10 pieces per set. When used, the force is released and absorbed externally. Moheng turned to the secret law exchange area again, and a large number of secret laws appeared in front of him. After careful selection, prepare to exchange for 5 transformations Forging God, which is a planetary to star level combat secret that can be cultivated up to 30 times the amplitude of your mental power. And the first turn of cultivation can help the bottleneck's mental power break through to the star level, only requiring 1,500 points. After browsing through it, Moheng didn't rush to redeem it. There are still the dean and some others who can consult, perhaps there are other better options. Ding dong. The doorbell in the lounge rang, and Moheng quickly got up and opened the cabin door. Leah looked at herself with a smile on her pretty face, her long brown hair draped over her shoulders. Go to the restaurant, everyone will go later to officially celebrate our victory in the top 10,000. Should we wait for them first? Okay, I'm just hungry, Moheng replied with a smile. Moheng is fortunate that the Yunling tribe where he was born has almost the same appearance as the Chinese people on Earth, with only slightly higher height and more diverse hair colors. When Moheng and his companions celebrated again in the restaurant, the starship also started sailing towards the entrance of the world. As there was no need to jump to the dark universe, everyone had no feeling about the launch of the spaceship. Only by simulating the scenery outside the ship could they discover the distant mountains and forests. At noon, Starship's orderly passed through a huge outlet hundreds of meters high, resembling a water curtain, and landed on a huge modern square. After waiting for thousands of testers to emerge one after another, they slowly left, and then another identical starship sailed out of the outlet. It took about an hour for all the starships to sail out, and Moheng and his companions had already been led by a middle-aged man in a floating car and flew towards the distant trial base. Dean Badier, let's bring glory to Yuan Wu Star this time. Is there any special reward in the academy? Ha ha ha. Zhaluo sat next to the middle-aged man with a loud voice and said happily. The middle-aged man named Badier could only shake his head and say, you guys haven't earned enough this time, so you're still asking me for benefits. I'm just a vice dean, you go back to find the dean. I led a team to treat you to food and drink, but I've been slaughtered a lot. After speaking, as if afraid of a few people continuing to coax, he quickly prepared to say something. Just at this moment, the optical brains of several people received an official message at the same time, requiring all the trial teams and their leaders to go to the meeting rooms in their respective residential areas to gather in 2 hours. The trial base is divided into 10,000 residential areas, each area can accommodate up to 10,000 people, and 6 million people are not crowded in a city-wide base. A few people from Mohang live in District 42, with only a few hundred people in the area. Badier led 5 people to a circular staircase conference room and found a row of seats in the middle to sit down. Not long after, a virtual projection appeared in the center of the conference room, depicting a tough old man in a black robe. You can call me Longbar. First of all, congratulations to all the elites for passing the trial. However, the difficulty of this trial is not worth mentioning compared to the threat of space adventure. As a result, 8% of the trial participants are still buried in the mouths of fierce beasts. At this point, the old man's eyes became sharp and his tone had a hint of anger and irreconcilability. Next, I will mainly announce 2 things. Firstly, the enrollment quota for this year's Cloud Spirit Empire Academy is 50,000, which is the result of the analysis of the month-long trial battle video by Lord Kun of the intelligent life of the country. All admitted students will receive news later and report to the Cloud Ring Star near the Cloud Spirit Star within a month. At the same time, many people in the conference room began to check the optical brain messages, and Mo Heng also received an admission letter through the optical brain. After clicking on the detailed introduction, it was surprising that after registration, they would provide secret methods and treasures to help break through the star rating. This was a pleasant surprise, as they didn't have to spend a lot of time breaking through on their own and also saved some of the treasures that were originally planned to be exchanged. Mohang raised his head to look at the other people, but his smile froze. Only Lucan in the team had a hint of excitement on his face, while the others remained silent and had an unpleasant expression. Impossible, I am the strongest in our team, why didn't I be admitted? A blue short-haired young man shouted amidst a lot of discussion, and was quickly stopped by the team leader. Lord Longbar is the Dean of Yunling Academy, with a domain master level cultivation. His words cannot be questioned by you, said a middle-aged man with white hair in a deep voice in the conference room. In the projection, Longbar seemed to have anticipated the scenes in the conference rooms of various regions in the base city of Noda. Every session will be questioned, but it doesn't matter, and it won't change our decisions. Lord Kuan is a great intelligent life, and his computing power is beyond your understanding. With the Lord's millions of years of war, he has witnessed countless battles, making it easy to analyze the battles of a group of apprentices. After speaking these words, I began to announce the second item on my own. Next, I will announce the ranking ranges corresponding to the education funds obtained by the planet in the next 10 years. From 1st to 100th place, 100 billion Huilon coins. From 100th to 10,000th, 10 billion Huilon coins. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Separation and Breakthrough. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Separation and Breakthrough. In the midst of a vast complex of buildings, various types of spacecraft are moored. This is a public shipyard, with various flights leading to various areas of the Cloud Spirit Empire every day. Not everyone can afford spaceships, and this type of public shipyard is also very popular in the universe. In the spacious ticket hall, Mo Heng and Lu Kan bought tickets for different flights with others. They only needed an ultra-short journey to reach the nearby Yunhuan star, while the other few had to return to Yuanwu star through a cross-galaxy flight. Come back and see us more in the future, keep in touch. Leah said to the two with a smile. Of course, quickly break through the star rating and meet in the virtual universe. Mo Heng replied with a smile. Vice Dean Badier also gave a few words of encouragement to the two, wishing them a speedy breakthrough in the stellar level. Then he turned around with a few people and entered the ticket gate. Let's go check the tickets too. Lu Kan sighed and didn't say much. He grabbed Mo Heng's shoulder and the two of them glanced at the ticket gate a few more times before turning and leaving side by side. After 3 hours of interstellar navigation, the two arrived at Yunhuan Star, which is in the same star system as the capital nebula Spirit Star. As soon as they disembarked from the spacecraft, their optical brains received a message simultaneously. Welcome to the Yunhuan Star Regional Network. We have detected that you are a student waiting to enroll in Yunling College. You can follow the instructions to the nearby pick.up point. Impressed by the convenience of the data network, the two of them also went to nearby pick.up points at the same time. Then, with the enthusiastic arrangement of the reception staff, they carried a flying car to the college to report. As expected, the entire college covers an area as large as a city. The accommodation of Mo Heng and his companions was allocated to a building in the south of the city, and each person had the right to live on one floor. After assisting the optical brain in scanning the door lock to verify identity, Mo Heng was able to enter. A spacious living room, bedroom, training room, with all kinds of facilities, even equipped with cleaning robots. According to the receptionist's instructions, Mo Heng entered the training room and found the LAN access signal equipment of the college. Through the auxiliary optical brain connection, an interface projection appeared in the training room, displaying his college account. Then click on the message on the account. Student Mo Heng, welcome to join Yunling Empire College. First of all, we would like to inform you that due to the confidentiality of the college's teaching resources, you can only log into the college's local area network in a private training room. According to the teaching methods of the college, we prefer to refer to it as the Cloud Environment Training Camp or Cloud Environment Dojo. Students have higher degrees of freedom, and their daily learning methods are mainly based on virtual universe and real course teaching. Each stage will have one or more learning tasks assigned by the college, and if they fail, their scores will be reduced until they are expelled. Mo Heng sat on the ground watching the news. As expected, he would eliminate some of them. I turned my neck and continued to look. The college has a 200-year study period, during which students will automatically graduate at the star level. Students are divided into 4 campuses based on their enrollment time every 50 years. The first campus has a total of 653,000 students enrolled in the first 50 years, and the enrollment years of other campuses are similar. The 4 major campuses currently have a total of more than 1.4 million students. Students can earn credits by completing learning tasks as rewards or exchanging personal currency. Credits can be exchanged in the treasure trove for equipment, limited resources, and secret techniques below market prices. Student Mo Heng, your primary task is to break through the star rating within 3 months. According to the medical examination and battle video analysis, you have a 95% chance of possessing special abilities and the force with water attributes at the planet level. You can obtain a free auxiliary secret medicine for martial artists breakthrough star level, or a corresponding reward for spiritual masters. Please choose it yourself. Please note that all breakthrough potions provided by the college are developed by the Great World Master level pharmacist Sirona, and there is a high probability that they will increase the special talent of benign mutation star level. Seeing this, Mo Heng couldn't help but widen his eyes. It is well known that there were 2 powerful masters of the Yunling Empire, the lord named Ku Chi and the lord's wife named Selona. Legend has it that the two met during an adventure, and in the end, Selona followed Ku Chi back to settle in the Yunling tribe. I didn't expect Selona to be a pharmacist. Pharmacists are one of the most financially sound groups in the universe. No wonder the Yunling Empire has been built so comprehensively, even with greater influence than some of the old world leaders of the Huilan Empire. With excitement, Mo Heng chose the auxiliary reward secret method for spiritual breakthrough, and now he only wants to know what it feels like to experience a leap in life. After breaking through the star rating, one can register as a citizen of the universe country and also enter the virtual universe with their own identity. At that time, there will be more channels to obtain the body tissues of various unique creatures. After selecting Mo Heng's student account, they received an email containing a large number of videos and pictures. The introduction on the cover was a secret article called Reading the Maze. Running the maze trajectory in the video with a certain fluctuation through mental and mental power is considered successful. At that time, the stimulation of mental power will reach a peak, and 99% of apprentices will break through the full level of mental power. According to the introduction in the video, Mahang estimated that it would take about 3 days for him to successfully operate. If he fails during this period, he will need to start over again. Unconsciously, it had been 2 hours since Mahang watched the analysis video, and the mysterious liquid distributed by the college had also arrived. It was placed in a 20 cm long test tube, emitting a faint blue light. After connecting with Luke and through the assistance of the optical brain, Mahang began to break through the closed door. No, it's like this. We need to be more stable and do it again. On the 3rd day of seclusion, Mahang finally figured out the operating rules of the mind labyrinth through video introduction and practice. He decisively took out the mysterious liquid and drank it, officially starting to break through. A hazy and illusory feeling rose from his mind, and then Mahang felt a hazy feeling as if he was drunk. But the mental abilities are exceptionally active, operating the secret method without any disorder. With the assistance of the medicine, the speed of operation becomes smoother and faster. This is almost the same level of fluency as 18 times the amplitude of the mental power, and Mahang achieved this speed through the use of a potion with 13 times the amplitude of the mental power. 2 days later in the early morning, Mahang sat cross-legged, closing his eyes and running the final section of the secret technique. Success. In the sea of consciousness, the high-speed movement of the mind suddenly arrived, followed by bursts of hazy mist, becoming thicker and thicker. Then, as if heaven and earth were reversing, all the mist collapsed inward, forming a beautiful and magnificent sphere of light. Subsequently, an invisible wave radiated from the photosphere, causing an incredible leap in the body's flesh, bones, and meridians, which is a change in the level of life. Planetary-level mindfulness. Before Mahang could get excited, the hazy feeling brought by the potion did not disappear. A warm current merged into the dantian, only feeling a strange fluctuation in the dantian. Along with it was the high-speed flow of genetic energy, which eventually contracted into another blue miniature planet through repeated expansion and contraction. Following closely followed was a larger wave that began to transform the physical body. Surprisingly, his body has also been stimulated to break through the planet level. Yes, this mystical liquid is already used to assist in strengthening the warrior's ability to break through and awaken special abilities. Mahang excitedly thought, involuntarily manipulating the microplanet inside his body, causing himself to slowly rise from the sky. Ha, it's a wonderful feeling. Mahang clenched his fists, looking like a small fist stone. After tidying up his mood, Mahang continued to feel his awakened special ability. A wave of waves was transmitted from the miniature planet in the dantian, and the force inside Mahang's body was also released from outside. Water molecules in the air quickly gather around Mahang, forming a circle of water belts around him. More and more water gathers, forming a spherical water curtain around Mahang. Mahang's mind moved and the water curtain around him quickly condensed as if receiving some command, forming a circular ice cover composed of densely packed polygonal ice sheets. In the next moment, the ice cover shattered and fell with the thought of Mahang, forming water droplets when it landed, gathering under Mahang's feet and forming a stream of water. Mahang's silk effortlessly stepped on the water surface. Is this water control? Ice control? No, according to previous research, the most common water-related abilities are water control, ice control, flowing water body, and cold ice body. These are all incorrect, and some rare abilities do not correspond to them. It seems that there has been a mutation. Mahang murmured in contemplation, this ability seems to have a somewhat delicate control over water, more precise and delicate than ordinary water and ice control. No. It's not just about controlling external elements. Mahang seemed to have discovered something, let go of his control over the water flow under his feet, and then began to feel the external release of the force, and then turned to feel the force inside his body. It's about control, not just about water and ice, but even the control of the force is very delicate. My body seems to have much higher control over the force than ordinary planetary-level warriors. In the next moment, Mo-Hung suddenly froze and said, "Isn't this one of the prerequisites for the realm? The realm is a product that integrates the body, soul, and the force, chanting. And now my body has already taken a step ahead in controlling the force." Mo-Hung was only excited about this for a moment. If he were to merge the bloodlines of related water races, he might not need these abilities to awaken the realm first. The next primary task is to register as a citizen, then log into the virtual universe with your own identity and find the suitable race. In the early morning, as soon as the sky broke, Mo-Hung couldn't wait to leave. The closest Jianyu city to the college is only 500 kilometers away, and it only took more than 10 minutes for Mo-Hung to use his petal and diamond blade box. Entering the city does not require any procedures, and Mo-Hung did not spend much effort to find a magnificent tower-shaped building, which is the official administrative building of the Yunling Empire. Half an hour later, Mo-Hung walked out of the office with an excited expression and turned to another nearby building, the Virtual Universe Company office. At this moment, he had officially become a citizen of the Yunling Empire in name. "Hello, what can I do for you?" The good-looking receptionist smiled and looked at Mo-Hung. "Collect biological information in one go finally. Go to nearby grocery stores such as Baibao House and Qibao Pavilion to inquire about the sales channels of Mengluo fruit and explore whether it is possible to obtain advanced biological body tissue offline." Not long after, Mo-Hung stopped in front of the semi-circular tall building and smiled as he looked at the three characters, Baibao Tower, on the sign. He was not afraid of a common name, but it was easy to remember the purpose of others choosing this name. Then I walked in through the silver light screen door, and as soon as I entered, it was a science fiction-filled hall. There are various first to second order psychic weapons in the display cabinet, and the large display cabinet in the middle is a few knife and gun-shaped force weapons. Another star-rated and beautiful woman greeted her with a standard smile. "Hello, this is the weapon zone, followed by the weapon trial area and secret law area, and the plant treasure area on the left." "Is there still a secret law area?" Mo-Hung asked in surprise. "It seems that this Baibao building is not simple. You should know that most secret law sales are copyrighted. A strong person has created their own martial arts secrets. If someone wants to purchase them, they can be notarized and authorized in the virtual universe. Only those who have purchased them are eligible to use them in public. To launch a secret law zone, it is necessary to coordinate many secret law support scenes, which involves communication between a large number of powerful individuals, usually consisting of multi-level agents of subsidiaries of major powers. Great influence is good, it's more legitimate and has more channels." Mo-Hung quickly went to the plant treasure area. Cayenne fruit, xiaoguang flower, linxing grass, most of the introductions are plant treasures that are required for star or star-level cultivation. Colored cloud fruit and xiaoguang flower are auxiliary treasures for the cultivation amplitude of star-level spiritual masters. Another type of star-drenching grass can directly increase the physical fitness of star-level warriors. The pattern is the same as the weapon zone, with several enhancement treasures required for the cosmic stage in the middle. A showroom cannot display all the treasures in the warehouse, there is a query screen in the middle. Mo-Hung finally found the selling price of Mengluo fruit among them, a set of 10 pieces per set, worth 1 billion Huilan coins. This is quite similar to the price estimated by Mo-Hung, and then he calmly looked at the communication product area and selected a new type of intelligent optical brain for himself, worth 100,000 Huilan coins. I have taken another turn around the biomaterial zone, where there are some low-level common monster and ferocious animal materials that have no value in fusion. Do you recycle treasures here? After circling around, Mo-Hung turned his head and asked the waitress who had been accompanying him. At the same time, there was an embarrassment in my heart, and my whole body only had a few thousand Huilan coins in cash. The points in the trial treasure trove have not yet been converted to 2 million Huilan coins. If there is any complex program, then the newly selected intelligent optical brain will have to be put back in its original place. Of course, the procedure is very simple. You only need to place your item in front of any optical brain in the appraisal area to check our recycling price. Our Baibao building business is very extensive, and we need all valuable treasures included in the virtual universe. Of course, the price will be slightly lower than the market price. The woman stroked a strand of hair in front of her forehead behind her ear and looked at Imoheng, speaking in a clear voice. Then he led Imoheng towards another area, and the two of them entered a small room in the shape of an office. There is a table with a built-in detector and a wide sofa on both sides in the room, with Imoheng and the woman sitting on each side. Then Imoheng took out a mengluo fruit and placed it on the table. A red light swept over, and a holographic projection appeared above the table in front of the two, displaying the appearance, effect introduction, origin, and average market price of the mengluo fruit. Finally, a mechanical voice rang out on the desktop. Dear customer, the price range of mengluo in the past 50 years has fluctuated between 105 to 95 million Huilan coins. Based on the current reference of 100 million Huilan coins, we can offer you a recycling price of 98 million Huilan coins. Do you agree? The Yunling Empire did not issue its own currency, so the domestic common currency is Huilan coin. The average living standard of the Yunling Empire is higher than that of other elementary universe states, and the price level is also equivalent to that of the Huilan Empire. Naturally, there is no need to issue currency with lower value. As for the meager financial gains, the two world leaders do not care at all. After hesitating for a moment, Imoheng sold all the remaining 5 Dream Luo fruits and then transferred them all to his own Bound Cloud Spirit Empire Bank. I don't have much wealth at the moment, so I'm sorry to open an account at the first bank of the universe. Do you need anything else? The female receptionist, who had just made a big deal, seemed to have made a lot of profit. Her bright eyes looked at Imoheng, and her tone became even softer. After thinking about it, Imoheng spent another million to buy a batch of star-rated cultivation treasures called Ice Mist Crystals, totaling 100, which is enough for him to cultivate for a period of time. Welcome everyone to comment. If you find my writing a bit verbose, please point it out. Since I started reading online articles, my personal favorite has always been the diverse and magnificent worlds, followed by the specific plot and character portrayal. Therefore, when writing about the rise, I always want to present the world in my eyes more to others. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Access Methods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Access Methods. After returning to the dormitory, Mohan replaced his auxiliary optical brain with an intelligent optical brain, and a figure appeared in front of Mohan. Based on your appearance characteristics, the auxiliary intelligence will be automatically set to the appearance of the same race, just adult, and opposite sex. You can change it according to your preferences. The figure in front of him quickly solidified into an image of a woman with long hair and a black skirt, who was 1.8 meters tall like Imoheng. No need to change, that's it. For Mohan, the first impression is all of his perception of it, and he doesn't want to make any subjective changes to it. Just let it go naturally. Master, please give me a name, the woman across from me saluted and asked in a light voice. Mohan looked out the window and saw that Yunhuan star has 3 orbiting satellites, and there is also a moon in the sky every night. However, whether it is Earth in the past or Yuanwu star in this life, there is only one moon. Let's call you 15. No matter how far I go, I will remember my hometown and look forward to reunion. Every time I leave to pursue the path of advancement, it is for a longer and better company in the future. Imoheng murmured. Received, 15 reports to you. May I ask if there is anything I need to do now? 15's voice became lively, but Imoheng knew it was not an intelligent life. These were all intelligent simulations of emotions. No need to simulate emotions, help me connect to the virtual universe. Good. Subsequently, the scenery in front of Mo Heng changed and appeared on a street. Looking at the crowd and the simple clothes on his body, Mo Heng realized that he should now be in a city on the virtual universe of Huilan Island. Master, we are currently in the Yunhuan area of Yunling City on Huilan Island. Sitting on his shoulder was a mini version of 15, as he watched Mo Heng make a dull sound as a reminder. Mo Heng reported 3 communication codes in his mind to 15, which were the virtual universe contact numbers of his parents and elder brother in this lifetime. Previously, he could only enter the virtual universe through an anonymous account. In no time, a group video interface appeared in front of me. Ah Heng, is that you? How does the college feel? Second, congratulations. After a moment of seeking warmth and comfort, Mo Heng and his family agreed on a virtual universe meeting time and turned off communication. The virtual universe has a teleportation function, making it easy and fast to meet, but before that, Mo Heng needs to inquire about the channels for biological materials. After finding an affordable restaurant, ordering a private room and some simple drinks, and ensuring that no one disturbed him, Mo Heng began to try searching for some information. 15. To establish an analysis task, I need to collect some high-level organisms' body tissues, which have a certain affinity for fields and laws, or have powerful innate secrets. Please help me search and analyze possible channels for obtaining them. Received, Master. Due to low permissions and high search target levels, there are currently 3 preliminary directions available for obtaining. Mo Heng breathed a sigh of relief and looked towards 15. Indeed, the data analysis ability of artificial intelligence was much more convenient than his blind search, and he was indeed a good assistant. The first type is the Biogene Company, which can currently be found externally and has relevant reserves. There are nearly 1 million companies in Noah universe domestically, but the minimum threshold for contacting them for cooperation is currently universe-level family forces or some large companies. The second type is large-scale battlefield exploration companies. The business scope of these companies is to obtain certain qualifications to clean up the battlefield after the end of high-level wars, and explore various powerful materials and treasures that are not important but valuable for low-level warriors. This includes but is not limited to battlefield explorations such as extraterritorial battlefields, secret realm exploration battles, racial wars, and power struggles. However, generally only the first 3 high-level battlefields will have the materials required by the Master. Currently, there are a total of 18 factions in Noah universe that meet the standards, but the minimum entry consultation requirements are for asset recognition of 1 hybrid or universe-level strength. Mo Heng sighed, he also guessed the third one, right in front of him. The Cloud Spirit Empire where one is located cultivates the power of some high-level ferocious beasts, and will inevitably have high-end business. Can only helplessly say to 15, does the high-end fierce beast business of the Yunling Empire also have a wealth or strength threshold? No, there is no threshold for the main business of trading ferocious beasts and monsters. Everyone can make payments and orders through the virtual universe, but the price is too high for the owner to afford. Mo Heng sighed impatiently and leaned back in his chair, saying, 15, can you directly tell me the methods within my ability range that I can obtain? Is there any way? Yes, according to the information released by major trading markets in the virtual universe, Cloud Spirit City, it is known that the basic introduction of 11 artificially configured medicines mentions that the raw materials contain the body tissues of ferocious beasts. Show me a list and an introduction to the organisms to which the material belongs. Weiguangdu, priced at 10 billion Huilan coins. It contains the blood of the ferocious beast Yunxiao. Yunxiao. As an adult, it is a cosmic-level ferocious beast with a 70% chance of mastering the wind domain. It comes with a domain-type talent secret technique called Qiongyu, which focuses on flying but also has certain combat abilities. Hengjuan liquid, with a unit price of 80 billion Huilan coins. It is the spinal fluid of the fierce beast, Jojia beast. Jojia beast. An Earth-type ferocious beast, reaching the cosmic level in adulthood, with a 90% chance of mastering the Earth-type realm in adulthood. It comes with a talent secret technique called Prisoner Armor Body, in the realm, and has excellent defense ability. It can withstand attacks that cross 5 levels of the same realm without damage. Saipu Type 1 reagent, priced at 1 million universe coins. It contains the blood of the ferocious beast, Bishuyao. Bishuyao. A water-type ferocious beast, reaching the domain master level in adulthood, with 100% mastery of the water field in adulthood. It comes with a talent secret technique called Bishucho, which combines the powerful range attack of the water field and the law. Mo Hung became excited to see that there were a total of 11 creatures with domain talents, and even the last creature, Blue Water AO, had a talent secret method for rules. For ferocious beasts, this may just be a talent secret that can be used, but for Mahung, if he has a corresponding talent secret, it means that the water system law is not far away. Having a corresponding attribute law type talent secret law means that one must have a certain affinity for that type of law. Although using the talent secret method does not require understanding all the principles like actively learning the secret method, what Mo Hung needs is affinity for the rules, and with the reference of the secret method, mastering the rules is naturally a matter of time. Although ferocious beasts have corresponding potential, their low intelligence thinking is destined to be influenced by most instinctual hobbies. So the vast majority of ferocious beasts will only reach their adult level for a lifetime and will not actively seek to break through the realm. No, this price. Even if you sell me, you can't afford it. Do you have any misunderstandings about my wealth at 15? Excited, Mo Hung glanced at the price tag and was momentarily stunned. The search scope provided by the master is within your abilities. Based on the analysis of your interpersonal relationships, your elder brother Mo Chang is currently working at the Saipu Research Institute in the Zhuang Galaxy of the Yunling Empire. And the registered production address in the introduction of these 11 drugs is Saipu Research Institute. Speaking of this, sitting on the chair opposite Mahung for 15 pauses, he leaned back with his arms in his arms, and looked at Mahung with ethereal eyes. The meaning behind it was self-evident. Mo Hung was then stunned. Not all of the bottom humans who devoured the starry world were cultivators, but there were also those who engaged in politics and business. And Mo Hung's elder brother Mo Chang, his hobbies and work are both scientific research. Mo Hung didn't pay much attention to his job responsibilities. After all, his older brother had been working for decades before he was born. At the teleportation point in the Cloud Ring area of Yunling City in the virtual universe, Mo Hung said to the staff, "Go to the corresponding Luyang area of the Luyang Galaxy." After the scene before us changed, Mo Hung appeared near another block. Looking around, this block is clearly not as lively as the Yunhuan district. However, Mo Hung didn't think too much, waved and shouted for a flying carriage to give his parents their address before sitting on it. The flying carriage landed at the entrance of an ancient residential area, and in the distance, 3 figures could be seen in Mo Hung. 2 men and women in their 30s with facial features are Mo Hung's parents Mo Li and Tu Wan, followed by a young man who looks around 20 years old, who is Mo Hung's elder brother Mo Chang. Before the flying carriage landed, Mo Hung had already landed and ran towards the 3 people. Dad, Mom, Brother. The closer you get to Mo Hung, the slower your pace becomes. Just come back, let's go to the community first, said Tu Wan, Mo Hung's mother, with a smile. My father and elder brother were also watching as Mo Hung nodded harmoniously. Without enthusiastic hugs and cheers, Mo Hung's entire family had an emotionally introverted personality, but Mo Hung received all the familiar feelings. Yuanwuxing, the hometown of Mo Hung, is an agricultural planet. Due to some special modifications, a plant called Xingshu vine was planted, which is a rare animal food material. Technology has developed to a certain extent, but there are still some plants that, due to the high cost of laboratory cultivation, inevitably need to be cultivated using the most primitive planting methods to have higher cost-effectiveness. And Mo Heng's parents acted as farmers on a continent in Yuen Wustar, with a large number of apprentices and countless robots under their command. At the dinner table, Mo Heng played the lead role for 10 minutes, and a few people warmly greeted him for several months of living outside. Then, as usual, the topic shifted to his father's job responsibilities, and Mo Heng and his elder brother could only be the comedians of his father. After dinner, Mo Heng stopped his older brother who was in a hurry to return to Zhuang district to cancel his vacation and briefly introduced his demands to him. Are you saying that you want some biological tissue samples with good talent levels? Mo Chang looked at Mo Heng suspiciously and then said, "What do you want these for?" Looking at Mo Heng's expression as he hesitated to speak and was contemplating wording. "All right, there's no need to say it, no problem." The big brother looked at Mo Heng with both hands in his pockets and said, "I can only get some of the materials and items for the 11 reagents you know. However, my recent research project on the characteristics of biomaterials is nearing completion. Although I am only the person in charge of one of the small steps, I still have the authority to handle some materials privately. As long as the experimental records and results are not leaked, then there is no problem." "What material is worth your grand recommendation to me?" asked Mo Heng curiously. "Mysterious sea demon, a type of intelligent creature in a secret realm. Water belongs to the water genus, with an adult body height of about 30 meters, at the cosmic level, and possessing rule-based talent skills such as eerie sound and secret language storm. With my permission, I can only know these things. Is this enough for your requirements?" "That's enough, that's enough. You're really my brother. In law. Speaking of which, brother, you have no authority to access such materials." Mo Chang leaned against the door frame and pulled out his right hand from his pocket, pointing to himself. "I am one of the assistants of the chief researcher. There are a total of 16 related biological research institutions in the entire Yunling Empire, and apart from a few pharmacists, these dozen chief researchers have the highest authority." In addition to being surprised, Mo Heng quickly enthusiastically laughed along with him. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Integration and Enhancement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Integration and Enhancement. In the early hours of the night, Mo Heng was taken offline from the virtual universe network, and his excitement was indescribable. Ma Chang has promised to apply for several biological blood samples, which will be delivered to Yunhuan Star through a transportation company along with the blood samples of the mysterious sea demon. It will take about 3 months, and the delivery personnel will be a team of 10 star-level teams. What Ma Heng needed to do was wait, suppress his excitement, sit on the floor of the cultivation room, and Ma Heng took out an ice mist crystal to start practicing. 2 months later, one morning, tens of thousands of new students gathered in a hall. In front of the crowd was a high platform, on which were 2 young men dressed in black martial arts uniforms. The one on the left looked at the crowd and said loudly, "My name is Baruna, and I am in charge of the entire first campus. The person on the right is your contact teacher, Bauman, for this batch of students. Your group only completed the breakthrough in 2 months, that's great." Everyone was listening quietly, without whispering. Mo Heng looked again at a message thrown onto his retina towards 15. The universe is at level 7, and this is the result of the optical brain strength test on Bear Unit. He sits more upright. All martial artists and spiritual masters have corresponding standard courses and techniques, and as long as you follow them, you will definitely make progress. We will regularly check your strength progress. If you fail to meet the standards, your score will be deducted, and the final result will be expulsion. Speaking of which, Bauman glanced at the crowd sitting upright. And he said, "You may not participate in the given course, and you may not learn the free standard exercises. However, during the testing, you must meet the required level of proficiency in the standard exercises. What we offer is just a way for you to become stronger. You can definitely exchange better secret techniques for cultivation through the treasure trove. Of course, the higher your score during the testing, the more rewards you will receive. If you have enough talent, there is also a chance for the universe-level teacher to accept you as your own disciple. Next, Teacher Bauman will explain your learning tasks. Another man with long hair on the side nodded to Berunit and walked forward. I, Bauman, Star 9. As one of your liaison and assessment teachers, there will also be my controller course on a daily basis. For all warriors, according to the commonly used weapon types you have selected, corresponding combat secrets will be matched for you on the student account. The Academy's requirement for all of you warriors is to achieve 15 times your physical strength within 10 years, which is a basic requirement. For Mental Mind Masters, there will be no allocation of secret techniques other than the Controller and Illusionist during the initial 10 years, and the basic requirement for you is 16 times your mental power amplitude. Remember, the testing period is once a year. From now on, everyone can disband, and the allocated cultivation materials will be delivered to your dormitory. All teachers' course arrangements will be notified on the student's account. Mo Hung, do you think it's possible to achieve 15 times physical exertion within 10 years, with an average of doubling physical exertion every 2 years? Mo Hung and Lu Ken were chatting on the school path. It should be possible. The first 10 years of learning standards are definitely not difficult to achieve, Mo Hung said, while also using his brain to check the logistics progress. The relaxed study time passed by in Mo Hung's enjoyment. Every night, Mo Hung studies the secret technique, Breaking Stars, assigned by the Academy as a controller. During the day, he participates in controller class courses in the virtual universe and occasionally goes to some open classes of martial arts teachers to learn power techniques. There are 2 offline courses with other students every week, and during this time, I unexpectedly encountered Tu Luo, who has been practicing and cooperating with me. Several courses were conducted by sitting next to Mo Hung. A month passed like this, and with the accumulation of a large amount of cultivation resources, Mo Hung also reached the 2nd level of the Nianli planet. On the anchorage of the spacecraft in Yunhuan Star Tianyu City, a small silver B9 class spacecraft landed steadily in the gaze of Mo Hung. Subsequently, a group of fully armed warriors emerged from the middle, led by a tall female warrior with a long sword, twin horns, and a black half-mask on her face, followed closely by 3 women, 6 men, and 9 others. A few people had just stepped out of the station when the leading female warrior glanced at her left arm and walked into a restaurant in the rest area as if receiving some news. In a private room on the 2nd floor, Mo Hung watched with a smile as the waiter led a few people in. The female warrior nodded slightly when she saw Mo Hung, and then the 2 of them coincidentally lifted their light brain slightly. A projection of an interface appeared on the woman's light brain. Face-to-face verification passed, please hand over the goods. The woman turned her head so that everyone behind her could see the interface. With their nods, she turned her head to look at Mo Hung. The mask slowly faded away like a fluid, revealing her entire face. With a smile on his face, he took a small black suitcase from behind and handed it to Mo Hung. This customer, please check the goods and confirm that they are correct. Once confirmed, we will consider the handover to be completed. After Mo Hung took the suitcase, his optical brain automatically scanned the password lock on the box to unlock it, confirming that the recorder on the box had recorded the situation, and that the box had not been opened or intentionally damaged without authorization. Thank you all, we have completed the handover. Now, as a private guest, I would like to invite you to a meal. What do you think? Mo Hung raised his satisfied gaze and looked at them. No need, thank you very much. We have other tasks, the female warrior said and quickly turned around and left, along with a few others. Mo Hung shook his head indifferently, his attention focused entirely on the box, and then quickly checked out and returned to the college. At night, the soft light of 3 moons shone through the window into the living room. Mo Hung, who had calmed his excitement, sat on the sofa and looked at the 7 test tubes containing various colored blood in the box in front of him. Yunnan Hai, Jiujia Beast, Blue Water AO, and Mysterious Sea Monster. Looking at the blood sample of the last mysterious sea demon, Mo Heng made up his mind to pick up the test tube and walk towards the cultivation room. The box behind him closed automatically under the control of his psychic powers and slowly drifted towards the cabinet in the bedroom. 15. I will begin to shut down, and all communications that come to me will be judged and replied to by you. Received. In the cultivation room, Mo Heng sat cross-legged, his planetary-level telepathy communicating with the tetrahedral structure in his mind. As soon as I first came into contact with the black vortex, a wonderful feeling spread out from it, as if it were an attraction. Mo Heng's soul and body seemed to synchronize, and a feeling similar to hunger was transmitted from both the depths of the body and soul. The synchronous feeling between the soul and the body seemed to have reached its peak in the blood, with thin blood mist drifting out from the pores around Mo Heng's body, and then surrounding him within 2 meters. Mo Heng also opened the stopper of the test tube, and the increasingly thick blood mist blocked Mo Heng's sight. By some instinct, Mo Heng controlled the blood mist to envelop the blood in the test tube. Mo Heng could feel the cells containing the blood mist of the mysterious sea monster, rapidly differentiating and transforming, and then slowly beginning to fuse the genetic material in the blood of the mysterious sea monster. Time passed by day. At first, Mo Heng was still somewhat awake, but as he went on, he felt more and more that a part of his soul was also brewing with the blood mist floating out of his body and brewing with the blood of the mysterious sea demon. Starting from the 10th day, his consciousness became increasingly blurred. In a daze, Mo Heng felt like a strange creature with a human upper body and a fish lower body. His upper body was covered in ink scales, his bald head, and there were gill-like organs on both sides of his cheeks. At this moment, he was living in a secluded sea area, with distant and ethereal sounds emanating from his mouth. Various creatures in the nearby waters, hundreds of kilometers away, came to a halt, and the strong human beings flying in the sky fell from the sky without a sound. In another sea area, various monsters and human warriors fought incessantly. In the deep sea, Mo Heng stretched out 4 arms covered in scales and swung, causing the wind and water to fluctuate in a regular pattern as if hearing a command, forming a huge tsunami and storm that devoured all living beings. A human warrior displayed a yellow or golden realm to resist, but it was soon engulfed by the torn realm. A white-robed warrior roared as he raised his sword and slashed towards the storm. The huge shadow of the sword seemed to hide the thunder of destruction, unstoppable as it charged towards the storm, but the accompanying movement gradually quieted down until it subsided. After the storm, human warriors and animal remains floated across the sea. In another darkness, Mo Heng's consciousness slowly awakened, feeling as if he was in an embryo. Unable to control the body, consciousness slowly fell asleep again. For months later, Mo Heng suddenly woke up from his sitting position and said, "No, I'm Mo Heng, human." At this moment, my consciousness was extremely clear, and the blood mist around my body slowly withdrew from my body as if receiving a command, gradually improving my physical fitness and the force. Part of the soul, also attached to the blood mist, gradually surged in power as it returned to the body. No, it seems to require a lot of energy to merge like this. Mo Heng's mental power moved with it, taking in dozens of ice mist crystals in the corner of the cultivation room. 15. Help me purchase planetary-level cultivation treasures, according to this quantity, 10 times. If it can be delivered to my door, the faster, the better. Received, selecting the best path. In less than half an hour, more than 60 ice mist crystals were absorbed completely, and Mo Heng had to slow down and slowly absorb the force in the air, relying on his willpower to carry the pressure. Ding dong. The doorbell finally rang. After locking the door of the cultivation room, control the cleaning robot to go to the door to pick up goods. 3 minutes later, Master, everything has arrived. The door to the cultivation room opened, only 1.2 meters high. a chubby white robot walked in holding a pile of ice mist crystals. "Thank you, 15, and you, little machine." Ice mist crystals drifted from the robot's arms one by one towards the blood mist, which was gradually thinning. Except for the floating ice mist crystals, the entire room was left with only a robot standing on the side, with dual lights flashing in its head and eyes. Unconsciously, another 3 days passed, and the scattered blood mist was finally absorbed. Mo Heng's body surged to the 6th level of the planet, while his spiritual and mental power rose to the 7th level. However, this was only the smallest gain for Mo Heng this time. A bright blue light burst out from Mo Heng's body, forming a circular field around his body and slowly extending. After just touching the room wall, it was precisely controlled and paused by Mo Heng. Field. And it's not just the feeling of just entering the field, there should be several layers, and the specific levels need to be carefully compared and experienced. After all, Mo Heng had never seen any other realm, and the realm of the martial artists he had seen in his dream was not directly felt by Mo Heng. When he woke up, he could only remember the feeling of using those two types of talent secrets. Thinking of this, Mo Heng felt the imprint of the two innate secrets in his mind, namely eerie sound, and secret language storm. As long as one moves with one's own thoughts, Mo Heng, who has not mastered the rules, can instinctively communicate with the original universe and unleash the secret techniques that contain the rules in these two formulas. The college is not suitable for testing these two secret methods. Let's talk about it when we have the opportunity in the future. This fusion took 4 months. By touching the black vortex in his mind again with his psychic power, Mo Heng realized that his psychic power seemed far from enough to trigger his fusion ability again. We can only wait until the next leap in life before considering it. Moreover, the kind of soul and blood that partially fuse with alien blood outside the body, experiencing a mysterious sea monster embryo-like psychedelic feeling, Mo Heng felt that he needed stronger willpower to bear it again, so as not to wake up and truly recognize himself as an alien. According to the communication between Babata and Luo Feng in the Earth section of the original work, it can be inferred that the average physical exertion of a 9th-level disciple in the universe is 10 times, while the average amplitude of the mental energy required for a spiritual master to break through the star level is 12 times. So here, I will temporarily use them as the basic standards for breaking through the star rating. A college that cultivates talents with the power of a world leader, I think their talent positioning should be higher than the average talent, so the assessment standard positioning of the college here has increased several times from the average. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Longbar's Roar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Longbar's Roar. Mo Heng stood up and stretched his whole body, his force battle clothes all peeled off with his mind, revealing his robust arms. The water control ability is activated, and a large amount of water flows around the body, washing away the body, and then flows autonomously into the bathroom in the air. Mo Heng, who was both physically and mentally healthy, walked briskly out of the training room and reached out to lightly tap the head of the small robot standing beside him. The standing robot seemed to be awakened, with a flickering red light in its eyes. It followed Mo Heng out of the cultivation room and then began cleaning. At this moment, Mo Heng came to the balcony and leaned against a rocking chair, habitually squinting his eyes at the sky. 15. Help me connect to the virtual universe. I need to report my safety to my family. It's been 4 months now. How did you help me deal with external news? Master, your family trusts you very much. It was you who proposed the idea of seclusion. They just regularly confirm your physical signs with me and don't ask any further questions. As soon as the tone of 15 fell, the scene in front of Mo Heng shifted to the streets of the virtual universe. No, trust and not bothering don't mean not caring. Help me contact them, I'll go to the teleportation point. Mo Heng walked towards the street, gesturing to the flying carriage in the sky while saying, Is that so? I don't understand human emotions yet. Mo Heng shook his head without saying a word and stepped onto the flying carriage. In addition, Lucan and Turo have contacted you multiple times, and your classmates Zero, Molly, and Leah have also sent messages. In another week, it will be the traditional festival of UN-Wustar called Harvest Festival, and they have invited you to gather in the virtual universe. I will contact Lucan and Toluo again during class, and the other three will help me reply. They will definitely arrive. After meeting with his family, Mo Hung pondered when he would reveal his mastery of the field. A star-level possession of a domain is already a genius, while a planet-level possession of a domain is not even more outstanding. Perhaps one can first become a domain master, or even dare to think a little more. Let's just have a showdown in the next assessment. After all, the worldview of devouring the world is an attitude towards cultivating talents, and the Yunling Academy where I am located is also a place to cultivate talents. It has been 3 months since the last unified assessment when Ma Hung enrolled, and the annual assessment time is fixed. There are still 2 months left for the next annual assessment. Take advantage of this time to cultivate the amplitude of your mental energy and physical strength, and feel the new qualifications of this body. In the cultivation room, 20 flying blades flew back and forth in a regular pattern over Ma Hung, sometimes orderly, sometimes colliding with each other, like living birds. And Mo Hung himself sat down and even had the energy to open his optical brain to check the exchange shop of the college. Mo Hung only spent more than 10 days practicing the planetary level amplitude secret technique of breaking stars, and the amplitude of his chanting power also increased to 20 times. After some thought, it's better to first purchase a martial artist's body power secret book for cultivation. After passing the assessment, you should have better resources, and finally enjoy a peaceful life of less than 2 months. The 12 steps of mountain crossing is suitable for long weapons, and can be cultivated up to 28 times the body's strength. It is a special offer for students, and as long as you recharge 5 million Huilon coins, you can purchase authorization. That's it. 2 months of leisurely time were spent in steady cultivation, and by this time, Mo Hung had already gained 22 times the strength of his body. Looking back at the regular campus life of the past few months, Mo Hung felt the same familiarity as his previous university life. After tidying up his mindset, he stepped out of the apartment door. In a square hall-like building that stands hundreds of meters high, nearly 10,000 warriors and spiritual masters leisurely sit on the seats in the waiting area, closing their eyes and resting or chatting. At the entrance of the hall, there were constantly students rushing down from the air and strode into the hall. Brother Ma Hung, don't leave after the assessment is over. I just broke through the amplitude multiple of my memory yesterday, let's try it again. Purple-haired young Toluo sat next to Ma Hung as usual and reached out to hand over a bottle of drink. No problem, if you lose, we'll treat you. Mo Hung took it without hesitation and replied with a smile. According to Mo Hung's speculation, it should be his artistic level spear technique that caused Turo to change his attitude. At the same age as UN-Wustar, only oneself had reached the level of artistic conception. I thought it was not a big deal until I enrolled in Yunling Academy. It was only then that I realized that only a few planetary-level warriors could reach the level of artistic conception. At the same time, I was surprised by the progress of the Earth Warriors' cultivation in the original work. However, you have to suppress your ability to only use the 6th level of planetary powers. During this time, my father bought me the first-generation spiritual source nutrient liquid, which will soon catch up with your cultivation level. This is the nutrient liquid that claims to be closest to the efficiency of those holy nutrient warehouses. Mo Hung has become accustomed to this. Most of the students enrolled in the same group have gained a lot from trials, and with the free materials provided by the college, they have generally reached the 3rd and 4th levels of planets in the past year. Lucan also relied on his trial income to cultivate to the peak of the 3rd level of the planet. And the guy on the other side has been practicing with various high-end treasures since enrollment, and 2 months ago, he actually reached the 5th level of the planet. Their planetary-level special abilities have very precise control over the force, so they can also improve efficiency in absorbing energy and various treasures. So Mo Heng modified the reasons for his strength improvement and told a few friends. Probably because he discovered the special functions of his own miniature planet, his elder brother gave him some rare cultivation treasures. In addition, he made a big profit in the trial and bought a lot of supplies, which gave him several months of seclusion. Student Toyuo, ID, please prepare. The next batch will enter the simulation cabin for assessment. A prompt appeared on Toyuo's optical brain, and Mo Heng also looked at the sorting on the optical brain, which was very close. In no time, Mo Heng followed the prompts and walked into the assessment room. After slightly bowing to Teacher Bauman standing at the door, rows of simulation cabins came into view, and he casually chose an empty simulation cabin to sit in. The same feeling as when logging into the virtual universe, Mo Heng appeared in a simulation training field. Student Mo Heng, we have detected that you are majoring in the master-type secret technique of breaking stars. If you have no objections, please choose the chanting weapon. The assessment will start in 5 minutes. The assessment content is to randomly generate multiple combat targets in various environments. Your minimum strike memory amplitude against all targets is your final score, and you have one opportunity for early testing. No need, start testing directly. 10 minutes later Bauman lowered his head to look at the 20-fold amplitude reading in his optical brain, and then looked up at the smiling young student in front of him. Teacher Bauman, I have a secret to report to you. In Bauman's questioning gaze, the blue water system realm was released from Mo Heng, enveloping the nearby area within 5 meters. You, come with me. He is truly a star-level expert and recovered from shock in just a few seconds. Mo Heng was hugged by Bauman's shoulder and quickly rushed out of the trial hall, flying towards a tall tower in the center of the campus. Only a restless assessment hall and a few assessment teachers looking at each other remained. This student named Mo Heng has actually reached a 20-fold amplitude of his mental ability. No wonder Bauman is so impolite, sighed an assessment teacher as he looked at the ranking on the optical brain. A blonde student who had just finished his assessment and was feeling smug passed by and heard him. His smile instantly froze on his face. Teacher Kadu, the best score in the first assessment of recent sessions is only 16 times, right? Another assessment teacher also spoke on the side. It seems that you have a talent with a wide range of brain areas. If you little ones want to catch up with his progress, it may take several decades more. Work hard, having a goal is also a good thing. He patted the blonde student's shoulder. As the spirited blonde student walked away, Kadu said in a faint voice. Is it possible that his major, broken star, can only show 20 times the amplitude? 20 minutes later. Mo Heng is in a training room on the top floor of the tower, unleashing his own realm. The center of the realm is the seventh order of the universe, Barun. Surprisingly, it is a triple domain. In the next moment, the window of the training room was broken open from mid-air outside the tower. Through the window, a huge white bird could be seen hovering in the sky, and Mo Heng could see its wingspan measuring several hundred meters. Yun Shui. Mo Heng was thinking about whether to quickly retreat behind Baryunit when he suddenly noticed a figure beside him. A sturdy old man in a black robe was standing in front of him, looking at him with sharp eyes. Lord Longbar. Mo Heng's bowing gesture was supported by the other party. Great. Your name is Mo Heng. The last batch of students to enroll. His gaze towards Mo Heng became noticeably more friendly. Yes, sir. It's been 9 months since he started school. Mo Heng had anticipated this scene, even though he was standing in front of a strong person who was many levels higher than him. There was an instinctive feeling that made him quickly calm down. It's been 9 months, 9 months. How did you teach me? I'm a genius like the Yunling clan, and I only realized it now. Longbar quickly turned his head and roared at the other two. Excited on the side, Baruna and Bauman were as if their throats were being choked, their expressions frozen, and they reluctantly remained speechless for a long time. A black-robed child appeared on the screen in the training room. Longbar, I also saw the situation. This child demonstrated a mood-level combat technique during the trial. Based on my analysis, he had a small chance of mastering the field at the star level. I didn't expect his talent to be even better than I predicted. Lord Kuan, if you know, it means the teacher also knows. I don't know what arrangements will be made in the future. In the first second, Longbar changed his face and roared at the Heavenly Lord, but in the next second, he became friendly and began to communicate with the intelligent life Kuan Lord. Little one, my master, the Lord of Yunling Universe and the Great Realm Lord, Keki, wants to see you. Lord Kuan did not directly answer Longbar, but looked at Mohang and said with a smile. I heard about the legend of the ruler when I was very young and have always longed for it, and Mohang quickly agreed. Very good, the master is currently in a large secret realm, and you can only meet in the virtual universe for now. Lord Kuan's expression looked very satisfied. Longbar, he'll leave it to you. Take him to the master's mansion. Longbar nodded aside and said yes, then Kuan, who looked like a child, smiled at Mohang. The screen in the room dimmed, indicating that this intelligent life had disconnected control of the training room network. On the virtual universe of Huilan Island, the center of Yunling City is a magnificent palace complex, where the virtual universe offices of the main departments of the Yunling Empire have set up their headquarters. Longbar walked on the broad road, asking for warmth and comfort sentence by sentence, and soon learned about Mohang's family situation. Mohang followed Longbar half a step away, meticulously replying. I naturally understand in my heart that for the domain master's thinking ability, I can almost instantly understand all my information from the virtual network, and the other party just needs to get familiar with me. Fewer and fewer people saluted Longbar on the way, and the two finally arrived at a garden next to the central palace. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Apprenticeship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Apprenticeship. There are various strange plants in the garden, and Longbar led Mohang straight to a pavilion in the center, where a young man and woman sat. The man was dressed in a red robe, almost identical to an ordinary person, except for a fiery red mark on his forehead and a pair of eyes that exuded a sense of vicissitudes. The woman next to her was dressed in white gauze, exuding a youthful vigor from top to bottom, in stark contrast to the calm demeanor of the man next to her. Mohang pays his respects to the lord and his wife. Mohang saluted, and Longbar stood silently to the side after also bowing. The man in the red robe laughed at himself and said, Don't call yourself the lord of the nation. Only the true lord of the higher universe can bear this title. After finishing speaking, he restrained his smile and looked at Mohang seriously. Mohang, I have been the first to understand the rules of the Yunling tribe for millions of years. With your qualifications, I hope you are the second one. What are you talking about? I can't be considered a member of the Cloud Spirit clan now, and I already mastered a bit of a rule at the star level back then. The white-veiled woman Selona interrupted, staring at Mohang with a smile in her eyes. Right. Kuchi nodded and said yes, then changed the tone and said to Mohang, with your talent, you need to receive special education. Would you be willing to apprentice? I am willing to pay my respects to the teacher, said Mohang, after giving a big bow to Kuchi who was sitting upright. He looked up and found that Lord Selona had stood in front of him at some point and received this bow. Mohang finally understood that it was this person who wanted to take him as his disciple, and his heart couldn't help but become even more excited. Okay, then I'll take you as my disciple. I used to have 2 disciples on the battlefield outside the domain, but neither of them survived. You are now my only disciple. As Serona spoke, she looked at Kuchi from behind and said, You can just call him Sherbua. I'll teach you the cultivation issues together with him, but as a master, I am practicing the law of water, so I have accepted you. Master. Mohang bowed and changed his voice. Well, your field is triple now, and your teacher has prepared weapons and secrets for you. I don't have anything else to give you, so I'll just transfer the money to you. Kochi also stood up from the chair in front of the table and walked slowly over, saying. Mo Heng looked up at the two people standing side by side, trying to make his expression more natural, and respectfully thanked them. Everything comes from hearing the sound of 15 in my mind. Master, your account has received a transfer of 1 billion universe coins. To Air, we can only guide you in the virtual universe killing field recently. Your Sherbwa and I have just left the Fuyu secret realm and are returning from the 1E star domain to pick you up. According to normal sailing speed, it will take about 10 years to come back. Next, let's take a look at your level of mastery in all aspects and go to the slaughterhouse. Sirona looked at Maheng and said, then glanced at Longbar, who had been ignored all along. Longbar, go back and remember to make up for your junior brother Maheng's gift. Yes, Shenyang. In the killing field of the virtual universe, Koki and Sirona walked shoulder to shoulder in the endless hall. Occasionally, warriors wearing various medals exuding a fierce aura respectfully greeted the two. Most of them just nodded in response, always explaining something to Mo Heng who was following beside them. Recently, Noah Universe has developed a large secret realm, which is not directly under Noah Universe's jurisdiction, so it has also opened up some exploration permissions to the outside world. And there are many wonders in the large-scale secret realm that are helpful for the Lord-level enlightenment rules. Your master and I purchased the enlightenment rights for 3 epochs near a wonder in the safe area after exploration. At this point, Sirona turned her head to look at the young disciple beside her and said, so, your luck is good. The area near my teacher's residence is suitable for understanding the laws of water systems. I hope you can understand the laws of water systems before reaching the cosmic level. Well, maybe we can catch up with the genius battle 130 years later. Kochi on the other side casually said the news that Mo Heng had always wanted to know. The figures of the three walked into a bloody corridor and disappeared. In a scene of ice and snow, Mo Heng was standing on the surface of a frozen river, and the heavy snow falling in the sky affected his vision. The special attribute control power of the planet level spreads with the released force, and the heavy snow is manipulated to form 2 snow dragons that collide with 2 warriors holding war knives charging towards the distance. 2 warriors coincidentally raised their swords and fought fiercely towards the snow dragon, causing a large snowflake to scatter. Following them were 2 flying blades piercing through the snowflake and their hearts. My gaze swept over the fallen bodies of the 2, and I looked towards the hundreds of warriors rushing towards the riverbed and sky in the distance. Mo Heng took a breath and raised his spear to face the crowd. The blue field spread from his feet with his footsteps, and flying blades emerged from the diamond blade box behind him. On a distant peak, in the fierce wind, Salona and Koki stood together watching the battlefield below. Mo Heng, wielding a battle spear, swam at the edge of the crowd, ensuring that he was never surrounded. Occasionally, a few besieged warriors fell under the spear or dozens of spinning flying blades that surrounded him. The combat skills are good, but the experience is not enough, said Kochi. I have my own understanding of the application of the field and my comprehension is good, Sirona added. Looking down at Mo Heng, who was gradually losing support, Sirona gently waved her hand downwards. Mo Heng only felt a fleeting fluctuation. The besieging warriors all stopped their movements, with frost covering their bodies one after another. In the next moment, the body disintegrated into fragments and continued to break down, until all the fragments before the ground were invisible to the eyes and merged into the flying snow. Well, we already have a rough understanding of your strength, Salona said as she stood next to Maheng at some point. Do you have any feelings? I just used a field that is 1 level higher than yours, and even the force level is the same as yours. I did feel the fleeting power of the realm, but I couldn't understand the detailed fluctuations, Mo Heng replied. Oh. You can actually feel it. Salona, it seems that your disciple's sensitivity to the water system field is beyond our estimation, and your affinity for the law may not be low in the future. Kochi's tone clearly brightened up. Mo Heng didn't know what technique or secret technique Sirona had just used, but he had absolute confidence in his current talent. The combination of the water system law's secret technique Diri sound, and Feng Shui law's secret language storm is definitely confident in understanding the law at least at the cosmic level. Sirona didn't speak, but the smile on her face couldn't stop. In her mind, she had the authority to contact the killing ground, and a crystal disc appeared in front of the three of them. Mo Heng carefully examined it, with a diameter of about 2 meters, and the entire body was made of ice crystal-like material. The center of the disc is lined with deep and mysterious patterns, while the edges are precisely stacked with ice crystal blades as thin as cicada wings. From a side perspective, it looks like 2 ice crystal blades wrapped around a disc with a diameter of only meters. The ice breath spirit plate is a 4th-order psychic weapon, Sirona said as she caressed the surface of the plate. In the entire universe, the human population recognizes that there are 9 5th-order controllers' weapons that are the most powerful, known as the 9 great divine weapons of controllers. And this ice breath spirit plate is the most successful replica weapon of the water-based divine weapon, the extreme divine weapon. Mo Heng was surprised for a moment, and at the same time, he showed even greater respect for the teacher in his heart. I didn't expect her level of dedication and expectations to be so high. Use a 4th-level force weapon to transition, and if your talent is strong enough, you can easily switch to a divine weapon in the future. When I was young, I understood the rules and witnessed the gap between true geniuses at the star level. I cannot estimate your future growth rate, but this weapon is definitely suitable for your current situation and leaves a lot of room for your future choices. The ice breath spirit plate spun around Sirona and finally stopped behind her. As a result, the wings on the spiritual disc seemed to come alive and sway. From Mo Heng's perspective, one can only see a pair of ice crystal wings extending from behind Sirona. The wings with a wingspan of about 4 meters flapped slightly, and in the next moment, Sirona appeared in the sky several tens of meters above. The white gauze outer garment swaying with the wind, and the crystal wings swaying gently behind, set off against the snowy sky, like a goddess. Without waiting for Mo Heng to think about how powerful he would be using this weapon in the future, Sirona in the air interrupted his thoughts once again. Watch it, these wings are just the simplest application of the ice-breathing spirit plate. Unlike the 9 divine weapons, which have 9 secret techniques, it only has 7 moves. On the wings behind Sirona flew flying knives, forming a cone-shaped sharp blade in the air. This first move is called the crystal feather sting, which is different from the first move of the extreme divine weapon that requires understanding the rules. It only requires 5 domains to barely perform, but if it comprehends a single rule, its power can also catch up with the first move of the extreme divine weapon. Do you want to feel its power? Mo Heng was marveling at the subtlety of this spiritual plate in his heart, and suddenly heard this sentence in his ear. Before he could react, he discovered the half-meter-long crystal feather thorn stuck in his chest. Mo Heng's gaze fell into darkness, and even his perception disappeared. The body of Mo Heng in the distance is slowly dissipating, and in the next moment, Mo Heng, who was judged dead by the slaughterhouse, reappears. After saying so much, there was no fluctuation in your expression, and finally I saw your surprised expression. Sirona fell from the air. At this moment, Kuchi next to him also said, I have never been to a slaughterhouse before, and you need to remember the most authentic feeling of death. Although true strength avoids death, it also requires a heart to face death. We cannot teach you much about this, and you can only hone it through trials and adventures in the future. You must always be aware and mentally prepared. Seeing Mo Heng nodded seriously with a serious expression, Kuchi patted his shoulder without saying anything more. Some words were enough for some people. The second move of this ice breath spirit plate is called Yuan Jun Spear, and the third move is called Cheong Wing Wheel, but your current goal is the first move. Once you master the first move, your master and I will pass on our unique skill to you. Sirona assigned Mo Heng the first learning task. Your master and I have collected some cultivation experience records. For the next month, you will come to the slaughterhouse every day to report. Your master and I will guide you to improve your field. Sirona transformed the scene simulation of the killing space into a sunny and windy scene, with several people located on a small hill in a grassland. Thank you, teacher and uncle. Mo Hung nodded and said. Well, that's it for today. Next, your senior uncle and I will meet an old friend here. You can go back first. Mo Hung nodded, bowed respectfully, and withdrew from the killing ground. With expectations for the next month, he went offline and left the virtual universe. In the office of Gao Ta, Mo Hung discovered that Longbar had left the virtual universe at an unknown time. Lord Longbar has left, and he has been told that he is going to prepare some things that the Lord has given you. Upon realizing Mo Hung's awakening, Baruni opened the door and said. Thank you all for watching, thank you for recommending tickets, and thank you for your motivation. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The Power of Talent Secrets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The Power of Talent Secrets, clap. Mo Hung pushed open the door of the training room with a tired face, took a few big steps to the balcony, and threw himself onto the rocking chair. This is already Mo Hung's 6th day of apprenticeship. Since the end of that day's apprenticeship, he has returned to his dormitory, but this dormitory building has an additional guest named Baruni, a cosmic-level powerhouse. After going through so many days, he finally understood why the teacher asked him to report on a planetary level that could stay awake for a long time every day, instead of staying in the killing ground to learn. For 6 consecutive days, I spent learning and training in the slaughterhouse, engaging in countless battles and continuously unleashing various secret techniques. In the killing field, there is no need to worry about the depletion of the force, so as long as you can endure the energy, you can continue to train. But as the mental fatigue increases, it will also affect Mo Hung's efficiency in understanding the field, so he needs to take a break offline and digest the daily gains. During this period, 15 received dozens of secret techniques from Silona's intelligent butler, most of which were combat secrets at the cosmic and domain master levels. According to the teacher's instructions, it is possible to take some time to learn as a reference for improving the field. A cup of juice was placed on the table next to Mo Hung, and Mo Hung turned his eyes to see that it was handed over by the only small robot at home. Thank you, 15. Mo Hung picked up this glass of juice and took a sip, instantly feeling a lot of mental relief. Master, it's not under my control. In addition to the basic task set, low intelligence can also judge the owner's needs and provide assistance, which is its own judgment. Low intelligence, Mo Hung smiled and reached out his other hand, thoughtfully touching the little robot's head. Ding dong. The doorbell of the apartment rang. Master, it's Lord Longbar. 15's voice immediately reminded Mo Hung. Are you still used to it these days? I have also been trained with such high intensity by the teacher before. Longbar was still dressed in the same way that day, but he restrained all his breath and looked like an ordinary old man. Mo Hung politely replied a few words that he could still get used to. Don't worry about anything else, the weapon that the teacher bought for you has arrived. Let's go and move to the new residence in Tianyu City. If you have anything to bring, pack it up. Longbar said and threw a black wrist guard to Mo Hung. After Mo Hung received it, his spiritual power swept away and it turned out to be a storage device. Upon closer inspection, I couldn't help but be surprised to find that the interior was actually a large space with a length, width, and height of about tens of kilometers, containing a small C-9 class spacecraft. After putting on the wrist, it automatically absorbs a strand of Mo Hung's mental energy, and then directly integrates into Mo Hung's skin. It is not obvious that the wrist guard has been worn on the wrist, and it does not affect the use. How about it? This gift is not bad, right? Anyway, you can also be considered my junior brother. I can't be stingy anymore. Longbar smiled and introduced the function of the wrist guard to Mahang. In addition to its large storage space, its concealment and durability are also very good. Even the domain master's mental power may not be able to detect or destroy it. Mo Hung was still hesitating how to refuse, but he was pushed back into the room by Longbar. You don't need to be polite. Although you are only a star in the industry now, you have mastered the field and are destined to be at least the domain master level in the future. In the entire universe, the most stable relationship between the strong is between the master and disciple, and the master brothers. Mo Hung had to return to his room and tidy up some unused cultivation resources such as ice mist crystal. He also took a few clothes from the bedroom, and the war spear, giant shield, and diamond blade box in the training room flew over and were put into his wrist guard. Glancing around, the little robot had just walked into the living room from the balcony and was cleaning the cup of Mahang's juice and placing it on the table. I casually put it into the wrist guard, leaving only a cup spinning in place. Later, Mo Hung walked out of the apartment, looked back at the door, and nodded at Longbar. Longbar then placed one hand on Mahang's shoulder, and the outward force wrapped around Mahang's body. The next second, the two appeared at the Tianyu City spacecraft anchorage several hundred kilometers away. A huge D9 class alloy spaceship was parked in the center of the square, and three men in black uniforms were standing in mid-air watching the newly appeared Mahang and his companions. The derivative business of the Universe Star River Bank was entrusted by the 4-star customer Selona to purchase a 4th-level mental weapon and several cultivation materials on behalf of Mr. Mo Hung. The recipient was Mr. Mo Hung, said the wolf-headed man politely, looking at the two with questioning eyes. It's me, Mo Hung responded in a voice, and then proceeded with the normal handover procedures with the other party. The 4th-level weapons that can be used by the Domain Master level and the D-level spaceship parked below mean that at least the leader on the opposite side has a Domain Master level cultivation in order to take on the risk of escort. The wolf-head Domain Lord level man finally handed Mo Hung a space ring, and the storage space in the room was filled with Mo Hung's long-awaited ice breath spirit plate and a pile of unrecognizable cultivation materials. Longbar remained silent throughout the entire process, and after the handover of Mahang, he appeared with Mahang in a manner. In addition to the various plants decorating the scenery in the outer circle, the vast manor was a small building made of C-grade materials in the center. It is said that there are also technological protective covers and other facilities, which are generally universe level and cannot physically attack people inside small buildings in a short period of time. This is a residence of Longbar in Tianyu City, now owned by Mahang. Mo Hung accepted with a nervous attitude and did not refuse. Mo Hung knew that what he needed to do now was not to be polite, but to cultivate until he could match all of this. A month of training passed like this, and Mo Hung successfully broke through to the 4th field. According to Selona, Mahang probably understood the principles, but breakthroughs in the following fields require gradual and accumulated insights. So next, you just need to regularly showcase your cultivation achievements to the teacher and receive guidance at regular intervals. During this period, Mo Hung also successfully cultivated to the 9th level of the planet with the help of advanced materials. At the same time, we are actively seeking various ways to prepare for the next fusion of bloodlines. I can't wait for the star level to make any plans in the future. If I don't want to be discovered by the master level teacher, I must undergo the next fusion within the next 10 years. The teacher will come back in more than 10 years, and later I will have to go to the Fuyu secret realm they call for cultivation. If I delay more time, it may affect the universe genius war 130 years later. For the preliminary plan of the new bloodline, Mo Hung believes that the bloodline level should be higher than the previous mysterious sea monster, otherwise it may not be able to match those geniuses in the universe. Note that sometimes a slow step means a slow step. It is difficult to find some powerful and strange life forms in the universe, but for some powerful bloodlines of the demon race, some information can still be obtained. Some cosmic states adjacent to the demon race, as well as the relationship forces of various foreign battlefield legions, have leaked materials. However, there are a large number of biological research companies in various human cosmic states flocking to their materials. Under the long-term search of 15, several avenues have been found. The first type is the Baibao Tower that Maheng once visited, and the highest power is actually an immortal divine family directly belonging to the Noah Universe Kingdom. And Baibao Tower also treats some customers with the same services as Universe Star River Bank, allowing them to use their power to help you search or purchase things beyond their authority. The second information actually piqued Maheng's interest, as Maheng's assets amounted to 1 billion universe coins, which met the minimum standard for purchasing a fourth-order force weapon. 15, based on such financial resources, searched for some permissions and surprisingly found a star-level bank in Noah Universe. Maheng's financial standards happened to be able to participate in a type of auction they held, provided that they became their customers. Although this type of auction is not considered a formal auction, it can only be considered a non-mainstream auction and cannot compare to the lowest level auction held by the higher universe. The target audience is only a majority of domain owners and some domain owners, but Maheng smiled happily as he looked at the shareholder list of this company called Dongyu Bank. Beihong Legion, isn't this a famous battlefield legion from outside the region? There are even 3 immortal deities serving as the army leaders, so the possibility of having materials from the demon race in this eastern region auction is high. On the balcony of the small building, Maheng, lying on a rocking chair, took the juice handed over by the small robot and murmured. Then go to the auction house first. If not, try registering a gene company under the name of Big Brother Machang and then get in touch with those large biological gene companies. The final choice is to use a high commission fee to ask Bai Bailu for help with purchasing. The auction house is only 6 months away, so Maheng decided to go to the auction house first. 5 months later, in the virtual universe killing field. Maheng was dressed in silver force armor, and his ice-breathing wings swayed behind him. He was in high altitude, looking forward at 100 first-order martial artists from the stars in the sky. Ice crystal flying knives kept flying out of his wings, gathering in front of Maheng to form a screen of knives. The approaching warriors were constantly pushed back and killed by the flying blade screen, but as more and more spiritual minders joined, the impact of various mindfulness weapons made Maheng's defense pale in comparison. But as the battle became more intense, the coordination between the sword and the screen in front of Maheng became more regular. Join me. Until several warriors successfully broke through in front of Maheng, the 12 flying knives in the center of the blade screen converged into a cone-shaped ice spike, which then turned at an extremely fast speed. Several first-order warriors from the stars failed to react and were cut through the barrel in an arc by the crystal feather spike, until Maheng could barely stop in front of them. Finally, it took 6 months to master the first move, Maheng said softly as he looked at the crystal feather thorn, which was only 30 centimeters apart from his eyebrows. Then his gaze swept towards the crowd that was closely surrounding him even further away. The crystal feather sting moves with the heart, flying towards the crowd like a swimming fish, sparkling with agility. Every time he crossed an arc, several figures fell from the air. However, after 10 breaths, all the 100 warriors that Maheng had struggled to support before lay on the ground. Since a month ago, Maheng's psychic power has successfully broken through to the star level, and he has also raised the level of the martial artists he trains to the star level. The combat skills are similar, but the opponent has no territory. The result of each battle is Maheng's hard work, which ends with his own defeat. It was not until a week ago that Maheng finally reached the 5 realms that he made today's breakthrough and successfully mastered the first move of the ice-breathing spirit plate. I have been killed by that group of warriors using various methods for 5 consecutive months. Today, I have completed my learning task and will unleash all my strength to ravage you. Subsequently, Maheng contacted 15 and closed the access to this training room. Maheng discovered this feature as early as he entered the slaughterhouse. The detailed explanation is that after it is turned off, no one can view the combat content in the training room. Mo Heng believes that someone within the virtual universe company can definitely break this rule, but ordinary immortals will never have this permission. The importance of the virtual universe is predetermined, as only some top human beings have some special privileges. But at that level, which strong person would pay attention to him as an unknown nobody? Master, successfully closed. Okay, set the scene as the sea, with 1,000 warriors and 1,000 controllers as opponents, with a first-level realm of stars. With the confirmation of Mo Heng's setting, the scene around him was changed to a sea surface floating with drizzle, and dozens of kilometers away, in the rain curtain, there appeared a series of warriors holding various swords, axes, as well as controllers stepping on magical weapons. Until the figure of the last warrior appeared, a silent crowd rushed towards Mo Heng. And Mo Heng didn't panic at all when facing the large group of warriors who were about to rush to his front in seconds. He just stretched out his right hand and weakly grasped the crowd ahead. Secret language storm. A howling wind appeared out of the sky and enveloped the crowd in front, then the light rain in the air turned into a rainstorm. With the gathering, it became a huge tornado, which covered thousands of martial artists and spiritual scholars. If it were an ordinary sea storm, it would not be able to cause itching or more stimulation to star-level powerhouses, but this is a storm that combines the laws of wind and water systems, with invisible rule fluctuations enveloping everyone. The rules doomed that their bodies would be stirred like ants out of control, and their bodies would be torn by rainstorm and hurricane, which is the embodiment of the law between heaven and earth, and their power could not break away from this process of embodiment. Watching the decreasing number of people in the storm, Mo Heng raised his hand, and the raging storm seemed to have lost all its strength and turned into an ordinary sea storm, gradually dissipating. Among them, the remaining 300 warriors effortlessly emerged from the storm and unwaveringly attacked Mo Heng. Mo Heng uttered a strange syllable with an unknown meaning, as light as a mosquito or fly but with a force of water system laws spreading with the sound waves. The 100 warriors currently sprinting became confused in their eyes, and then gradually went crazy, fighting against the warriors following from behind. Until the remaining few warriors were easily killed by the crystal feather sting. The intensity is still not enough, increase the number of enemies. Subsequently, Mo Heng doubled the number of enemies he faced several times, and ultimately came to the conclusion that the power of the law was invincible among his peers, with the only limitation being his own mental and force reserves. Otherwise, he could remain invincible forever, no matter how few enemies came who did not control the law. Due to the lack of mastery of relevant rules, one can only rigidly apply secret techniques and cannot achieve precise manipulation. If one masters the rules, they can change the effects of secret techniques based on their level of mastery and certain concepts. Rules are never fixed forms of manifestation. At present, Mo Heng can only control the Giri sound to confuse the enemy's spirit or directly attack the spirit. The manifestation of the secret language storm is even more singular, attacking in the form of natural phenomena. Mo Heng was already very satisfied with the power of these two innate secret techniques at this time. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but hope that after mastering the rules, the power and effect of the secret techniques would change. End of this chapter.